And we're live. Hello. We're live and in person. Hello, everybody. We'll just wait and see if people show up, and I'm sure they will eventually. We just have to wait and see.
Oh, there we go. I was reloading your home page to see where the thing was.
Yeah, I had to do the same. Don't feel bad. I always have to end up doing the same thing. Hello, Mugen. How are you? I don't think I've ever seen you in my stream before, but hello, greetings. Welcome to the stream. We have Flattmeister today. Yay!
Hey.
But yes, unless this was earlier, because I did start the stream, I think the notification probably showed up earlier. Oh, you don't need to apologize, Mugen. There's no need for that. Some people just can't make it to the live streams because it's determined by what time I'm on. It's just today we're lucky because, you know, Flat has a much different time zone than most people I do these with. So I have to do it even earlier than I normally would. I'm okay with that.
I'm cool with doing it later as well. Like, I'm a bit of a night owl.
Yeah, it happens. Well, just Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
One great thing though is you would have tons of space if you wanted to have dinner parties. You could even have a bigger table or something like this.
Right. I don't love that you walk in.
Yes, this should be a good topic. It was Flattmeister's video that he did. What was it, like 2 days ago?
About a day or so ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was about 2 days ago that made us decide to come together and talk about the topic some more. Instead of me having to waste time editing a video and doing it. I might as well just do it on a live stream and complain about first world problems. No. Mainly the game journalists and their first world problems. More so than my own. No idea who this Mugen Fool is in chat, but they're using Kite as this avatar, so they're cool in my book. Well, did you hear that, Mugen? You now have approval from the Rabbit Sensei. Konnichiwa.
The Sensei approves.
Your Sensei approves. So, I apologize if we haven't gotten to any actual talking points at this point because
Talk!
Loud noises! Keep the audience engaged at all costs.
Oh my god! Thank you, Mugen Fool, for subscribing. I just suddenly noticed it. I got an extra subscriber!
Hooray!
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, let's help him get to 100 subscribers. He's incredibly close.
I usually I don't usually like to, what's the term, e-beg or beg for subscribers and stuff.
Yeah.
I like to think that my the quality or my opinions or whichever entertains people and influences people. Oh, Jay is in the chat.
Yep. I noticed. Not these two wankers.
Good old Jay. He's a good chap.
Yes, he is. I like him.
I was just getting the link to that Polygon article. Oh,
I should have probably picked that up.
It's not letting me link it in the chat. I don't know if that's appearing in the chat or not.
Let me check. It is not showing up. Not in the Google Hangout one anyway.
Yeah, I was trying to post it in the. Oh, there we go. Nope, it's still not letting me do it. I'll post it in our group chat here. So anyway, yeah, I did a video about 2 days ago in which the Polygon journalist admits to not finishing games. This guy called Max Schwerin basically says games make quitters of us all, and that's okay. And a lot of people pointed out in the comment section of my video that this journalist was using a lot of projection. Like he kept using the word "we," as in, "Oh, we gamers, yes, we all quit games." And
it's like, that's very presumptuous of you, sir.
but I said in my video, if a gamer, a consumer, someone that has paid for the product, that's fine. If they want to stop playing, they've paid for it. They can get a refund. They can trade it back in, and that's fine. But a game journalist, this is someone that we're supposed to take serious.
Yep.
And he makes really stupid claims that, oh, you can play 5 hours of Far Cry 5 and still fully understand the game.
That doesn't sound right at all.
I know. I'm like, how a game journalist is supposed to have? A journalist can't have a half-baked opinion on something. They've got to fully understand and have played the game from start to finish, like played the main campaign from start to finish.
At the very least.
At the very least, play the main story.
Yeah, play the main campaign and get it out of the way. You don't need to play. You don't need to know the complete ins and outs of the game 100%, but you need to at least have a basic grasp and understanding of all of the different aspects that the game has. And at the very least, you need to understand how the mechanics work, how to actually play the game, because that's been put into question lately.
Yeah. Especially with do you remember Polygon's Doom playthrough?
I've seen a lot of them. I've seen that. I've seen the Cuphead debacle. I'm like, can you not even read? I have to ask a personal question to that particular person in general. Did you fail English? Were you born in the States, and did the American school system fail you? Because that's what I'm getting from this.
This one makes me laugh. Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, the thing is that it gets to this point where even someone with basic knowledge, basic understanding of an English language can actually read that and understand what they're supposed to do. But continuing to fail and look like an idiot. Yeah. Either you hit your head that day and had a concussion, or you can't read. Those are the only two options I can think of, or you're just that incompetent.
Well, you know that Dean Takahashi that couldn't even get past the Cuphead tutorial, yeah?
Yeah,
he also gave when the first Mass Effect came out in like 2007.
Yeah.
He gave Mass Effect 1 a really below average score because he didn't realize until about 3/4 of the way through the game. He went, "This game is so hard." He didn't realize until 3/4 of the way through that he could level up his character and his companions. He literally went through 3/4 of the game having not upgraded any abilities on the skill trees.
Yeah. The funny thing is that I told my mom about that debacle, and she doesn't play very many video games, but even she could read basic instructions, and I bet she could have completed his tutorial faster than he could.
Yeah.
And she barely plays games as it is.
Yeah. I mean, my mum, I think it was back in 2015, I think? 2016. My mum bought my stepdad a PS4. And she went, "Oh, I don't know what sort of games to get him." And I said, "Well, try this, the Uncharted series. Get the HD collection. This is something that'll be up your alley." And they just got stuck in. It took them a while to get used to the controls and such.
Yeah.
And like my mum called up occasionally, she went, "Oh, how do we get past this? We're stuck on this bit." I'm like, I don't know. You're just gonna have to keep trying.
To figure it out.
Yeah, I think within about the space of about 3 weeks, they blitzed through the entire trilogy. And I said, "Oh, how did you get on with Uncharted 1?" She went, "Oh, we completed all 3 games." I'm like, "Oh, wow, really?" She went, "Yeah, we enjoyed the story and the characters so much that we played for it again." And then when Uncharted 4 came out, I said, "Oh, the next one has come out. You should play that one as well." And they played that as well. And it's really funny that even when I was a kid, my stepdad really enjoyed playing games. We had the PlayStation 1.
Yep.
We used to play Wipeout and such on that.
Yeah. Well, hello, Samurai Raccoon. And Rabbit is asking if he can join. Sure.
Oh, join in our lovely conversation. I don't see why not. You okay with that? Oh, what was that? Rabbit Sensei, is it?
Yep.
If he wants to, yeah, it's your stream, dude. It's up to you.
Well, I normally ask everybody first before.
Rabbit Sensei, you're too kind. I'm the Grand Meister, Flat.
He's the Grand Meister. He shall now be known as Grand Meister as such from this day forward. He is no longer Flattmeister. He is now Grand Meister.
You know, if you think of how complex most next-gen games are to normies, if you want to call my parents that normies. My
even
parents are normies.
Know how to play a video game.
You know, my mum especially, she got really stuck in like some of the puzzles and things. She figured it out, and I just took a step back, and I laughed at her trying to do all these jumps and climbing about and all these puzzles.
Yeah,
but yeah, she really got stuck in. And you know how they say, how gamers try and push female gamers out of the gaming sphere.
It's BS.
It is BS. Like, I actively encourage my mum, like, "Oh yeah, you should try this game next in this game." My stepdad bought No Man's Sky.
Yeah, I mean, I've encouraged my mom to play games. She really liked playing on the Wii, particularly like Wii Sports, and kick my ass in bowling. That was her favorite thing to do for a very long time. And the funniest thing is that if it wasn't for girls, I wouldn't be playing video games probably, or I wouldn't have been, brought into games quite as fast, because I didn't own a console at home when I was about, I was probably about 4 and my brother was about 3 years old.
Yeah.
It was the first time we were exposed to like Super Mario Brothers. And it was our neighbor and their older daughters were the ones who were playing it. So it's like, I don't want to hear that BS. I don't, because it's a load of horse hockey. I'm pretty sure that there's assholes, but there's assholes everywhere. So it's not anything new. I've come across my fair share of guys who were just genuine assholes while playing multiplayer games and whatnot. It's not anything new.
Yeah.
They're there, And I'm not just saying they're doing it, just to make you suck at the game, because, that is a tactic, but then they're just genuinely terrible people to hang around with. Rabbit is here. How you doing?
Doing all right. Yeah, and I excuse me. I have my camera turned off this time because, frankly, I look like shit right now. But
that's by your own choice. I can't force you to turn the camera on.
I mean, I could turn on for a second, but it's really dark in here. And as you can see, I sort of look like shit. I have yet to shower today because I woke up about 2 hours ago, was lazy and said, "Screw it, I'm just laying in bed." But yeah, I did post something in the comments earlier that I think that I wanted to say, because I think everyone was focused on things, but about the Polygon review, games make quitters of all of us, and that's okay. No, I'm sorry. If you're doing game journalism, you have to complete the game, because if you don't complete the game, that is not a review. That is conjecture.
Yeah. Don't presume things that you know nothing about.
I mean, the opening paragraph of his article where he goes, "I never got Geralt past Novigrad," which is Witcher 3, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think the problem I had was when he pointed out, or stop the Joker's evil plan. I'm like, you're telling me you couldn't beat
Arkham Asylum or City?
Or Arkham City. Arkham Asylum is the most linear out of all of them, and it's the easiest to complete.
The combat.
Even the final boss fight isn't hard. There are harder fights in the game later or earlier. Poison Ivy's a harder fight than Joker.
Solomon Grundy fight, I think, was one of the hardest boss fights.
Yeah, and that was in Arkham City too, yeah. Or Arkham City, yeah. I was just thinking of the first one, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, and the other thing is that, okay, for journalists, I'm going to say this. If there are easier ways to complete the game, like easier difficulties, take that opportunity to at least complete the story.
Game journalist mode. Game journalist.
Yeah.
I mean, game journalist mode. You mean Phoenix mode on Fire Emblem Fates.
It's like, I know there are certain games that, you know, where you can't, you know, change the difficulty setting and it's locked in place and it just gets harder as time progresses. But for most games, they have difficulty settings for a reason. If your job is to complete the game, or at the very least complete the campaign and get a basic understanding of the mechanics the game is in, play it on easy, because that's what I normally do when I first pick up a game that I know nothing about. Is like, I will play it on easy. And then, if I remember correctly, this article complains about like trying to find all of the trophies and all the little riddles.
Oh, the Riddler, yeah.
All the Riddler challenges. Those are optional. You don't have to do them to complete the game. They are completely optional. They are collectibles. They're things that you do on the side for fun.
Although, I think actually, if you do collect all the trophies, it does unlock like the one of the side quests of the Riddler side quest, and
there are two things. There's two things it does. It unlocks more challenges for the challenge mode, and also adds to your collecting all the different items, and also completes like things like the biography sections, the recorded interviews, and whatnot. And you know, they're all part of the same challenges, or they all kind of connect. And if you complete every single challenge that the Riddler gives you, you are rewarded at the end by having him get arrested.
Yeah.
Because he managed to escape. So,
because I think in Arkham City he holds people hostage, and I think when you collect a certain amount of Riddler trophies, you unlock a new location of where one of the hostages is being held.
Yeah, you unlock more more Riddler trophies and puzzles you solve, the more civilians you can rescue.
Jay says, who the fuck plays games on easy mode? Dark Souls easy as fook. It's easy as fook.
Says you. But sometimes if it's a game that I'm not familiar with and I'm not used to the mechanics, I do play it on easy. Or if I find the game just too difficult for me to play on my own, I put on easy. But then there are games like that, you know, that just you can't do that with, you know. Dark Souls, Bloodborne, even on the Fire Emblem games, even on the normalist and lowest setting, it's still a challenge to play through without screwing up, you know.
Yeah. Except for Birthright, like Taylor Leoff just said about how Birthright, that's pretty much the easiest of Fire Emblem game to date. Though whenever it comes to Dark Souls and Bloodborne, stuff like that, that have classic difficulty, which is essentially the same as what games like Mega Man, Castlevania had back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Those definitely aren't meant for everybody because they are made for people who want a challenge. At the very beginning, they have the "you must be this tall to ride" signpost, pretty much. Like in Dark Souls 1, it's the thing of you go into this room, bam, giant boss lands right in front of you, and just go, "Sir, bring me my brown pants." But
And and the person even points out like the length of the campaigns to be about 10 to 15 hours. It's like, let's see, that's really nothing compared to like maybe an RPG game where you have to sink more time into it.
Agreed. The only examples of games that were shorter than that are from back in the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis and original Nintendo days, whenever games were made without the ability to save. So you had to be able to beat them at about an hour to 2 hours.
Yeah. I was trying to find it where it was in the article because someone in the chat, I highlighted it. Samurai Raccoon said, "Could you imagine someone reviewing a movie after seeing only half of it?" And I remember there was a line in the article that said, "If you were to stop watching a movie halfway through, you forego the gratification of narrative closure." I'm like, you could, and I said in my video, you could apply that same sentence with video games. If you stop playing a video game, you forego the narrative gratification and closure, because most games now are heavily narrative-driven experiences.
Agreed.
He even says in his article about saying, "Oh, if you tell someone you've read a novel and you've only read half of it, you're rolling the dice and you know it. You didn't read that book. If you fall asleep midway through a movie, you invalidate the experience of seeing it. You can't really have a serious opinion on either work of art without attaching major caveats." I'm like, you are literally like self-awareness.
It defeats his own point.
I know.
You can't understand a game completely without finishing it, at the very least.
The thing is, though, that next paragraph, straight after that line, he goes, "But if you just play 5 hours of Far Cry 5, you will likely understand what the whole game is about, warts and all." I'm like, no, that game, like, I've read and seen like clips on YouTube of the ending and sort of the midway points of the game, so I kind of have an idea of the story that plays out.
Yeah, the story may be, something that could be predictable. That if his intention was to say like, the story will probably end up being predictable and I know where it's going, then you might have an argument. But you're saying that you're putting it in the context of the entire game itself. You can't do that because you don't know how it will end, and you never know. You might get surprised
because there's actually multiple endings as well.
Some games have multiple endings, and then sometimes video games like plot will go in a certain direction and then we'll completely turn around and decide to do something completely different midway.
And now for something completely different.
I think that happened. I remember playing Tales of Xillia. I still haven't finished it, but I do remember when I was watching a friend playing part that I hadn't gotten to yet. The story literally turns on its head near the halfway point after you beat the king of or chieftain of one other country, and then the story takes a dramatic and sudden change. It's not there's all this technology and this entirely new element that's been thrown in that was not talked about. Stuff like that can happen, especially in something that's story-driven. So you can't just play the first 5 hours of a Tales game and expect to know how it's going to end.
Fair enough. Though on that go ahead, Flat.
I was just going to read what Samurai Raccoon said in the chat, saying, "Geez, that's like saying you're the leading authority on Power Rangers after seeing just one episode." Respect my authority. I know all about Power Rangers after only having seen one episode.
Well, yeah, and I saw that Chef Jack is here. Hi, Jack. How are you doing? It says, if all you want in the story from a game that legendarily has this amazing story, then why not play through it on easy mode to get the story? So you can, that was basically my point.
Yeah.
It's like, just if all you're interested in is the story and no challenge, just play it on the easiest difficulty setting to complete the story. And
also,
then you go back to it later.
Yeah. Go on,
Yeah.
Rabbit. So what were you going to say earlier? Sorry.
Yeah, because I heard Telltale mentioned earlier, which I'm going to be the outlier here because I have an unpopular opinion. I hate Telltale games. The reason why is because when I sit down to play a game, I want to play a game. I don't want to be watching a visual novel with QuickTime events. Because that's really all they are. There is no gameplay in Telltale games.
I mean, there's little bits, there's little segments of point and click, like, ooh, check out this item, check out this area here and there.
Yeah, especially with the ones that focus on like more detective aspect gameplay, like the Batman or the Wolf Among Us would probably be.
Fair enough, but at the same time, Phoenix Wright did that stuff so much better.
True. It's actually more of a game.
Yeah.
I've only ever played one Telltale, and that was just the first chapter of the Batman game. So
the one I played through was the entirety of season 1 for The Walking Dead that Telltale made, which everyone hailed as the best thing since sliced bread.
It was a good story and good characters.
Agreed. The story was amazing. The story was great. The characters were great, but it was not a game. It was buggy and glitchy as hell, and really all you did was move the character side to side to get to different dialogue things, which could have easily been done in a more linear fashion, turning it into which really just made a visual novel that you could walk back and forth for a few seconds before going, all right, I guess I'll go to my objective.
Because Mugenphil says about Detroit Become Human, which is Quantic Dream's new game that's coming out on PS4.
I think so. I think I forgot which. I know the game, but I forgot who's publishing it. So,
Quantic Dreams. They did Heavy Rain. They did Fahrenheit, which I think it was called Indigo Prophecy in the US.
Yes.
Yeah. I still like Fahrenheit better.
What was the other one? Which one did you like? Sorry.
I like the name Fahrenheit better.
Yeah, Fahrenheit's. I think Indigo Prophecy, I think, is too on the nose, and it kind of spoils the mystery of what the story leads up to, like completely. And what was the other one? It was Beyond Two Souls, wasn't it? And they are they're very sort of. They've always been stated as being interactive cinematic experiences, but they're very sort of again very similar to Telltale games, in which it's quick time events.
You okay there, Wolf? It sounded like you fell for a moment there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounded like someone fell through the floorboards.
I think that was my mom going downstairs to put laundry in the washing machine.
Oh, she didn't fall downstairs, did she?
I'm pretty sure she didn't. She just closed the door.
I think it would have sounded. I think it would have sounded more like this.
Did someone go downstairs?
Yeah, I wouldn't put your laundry over.
Oh, okay. Everybody was worried. They thought someone fell through the floor.
No.
Nope. Everything's fine.
Good.
I did what you asked me to do.
Yes.
So what's everyone's opinion on this Detroit Become Human then? The androids gaining sentience when they're supposed to be sort of housemaids and assistants assistance machines for humans. What's everyone's?
It sounds interesting, but I'm going to wait until I get a full view on what's happening with it before I put money down on it.
Yeah. I don't know if it's really my type of game to begin with, so.
Because people are getting upset about the whole child abuse story arc. There's a father that is physically abusive with his little girl. He beats her, and you control the female housemaid android.
Yeah.
And you can choose to intervene, but I think that affects your programming in some way. I don't know that if you when you control certain androids and you choose to go against your protocols, I think in some way, I don't know how that affects the character and the story further down the line. Does that kill you? Does that kill your android gradually? Like the more you break your programming, your interior protocols, does that
sometimes they're very.
Well, it sort of meshes with the whole concept of become human at the same time. The one thing I will say is technically a android or robot that would stop a person from beating another person down would actually be following the 3 rules of robotics of not causing harm to another human being.
Is it Asimov's 3 rules of robotics, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, it's a fun. I know that also the way that they've shown the game in the past, it's similar to, I think, what was it, the Indigo Prophecy or Fahrenheit game, in the sense of your actions will have consequences further down the line. The way that you handle any given situation will determine how people respond or how things react. I mean, I remember when the game was announced, they showed like the multiple scenarios that the android
hostage negotiator
had as options, like, and what would be the outcome for each scenario. So
yeah, and it all depends on whether you had fully explored the apartment beforehand, before approaching and gathering all the evidence up.
Yeah.
Before approaching the hostage situation. Yeah, that's what I really liked about Fahrenheit, was that you played as multiple characters. You played as the serial killer.
Yeah.
You played as the 2. You played as the 2 cops also investigating who this killer is, and there was another character, and I can't think who it is. Do you play as the serial killer's brother as well? I think briefly.
I think so. But yeah, on the topic of games like this, though, the one game I actually think did the whole thing that Telltale and all of them had tried to do really well was actually that game Until Dawn, because that one actually has gameplay elements because you can fail. If you can't fail, it's not a game; it's a visual story. But if you can fail, there's a bit of gameplay elements you have to take into account if you want to get the best ending.
Yeah.
Oh, because the game warns you about is it butterfly effect moments? It gives you like a vision of a future trap that will get you.
Yeah.
Like the game warns you.
Yeah. I have a fun idea. Why don't we check the comment section for the article to see how people responded to this? I think the very first top comment was actually quite funny. How can you know if you don't? Never mind.
Oh yeah, that's because it's quoting. But by and large, modern games don't execute endings well. I quit almost every game before I finish it. Oh, that was from the article, wasn't it? And yeah, that person goes, "How can you know if you don't?" Never mind. how can he know whether games execute endings well if he quits almost every game before finishing it? How does he know?
So stupid. If you get bored of a TV show and stop watching it, you forget the gratification of narrative closure. If you abandon a video game over the mechanics but still care about the plot, you can always go to YouTube for closure.
Oh God, Facepalm 9000. Jesus.
But that's also a very good point. It's like, if a game was like mechanically you can't complete it for whatever reason, that might be a viable option, especially if you were curious to see how the story ends.
Yeah.
Or if you like watching Let's Plays in general anyway. Because the thing is that everybody's experience on a Let's Play is different depending on who is playing and how they go about it. Speaking of God of War, what I've had make me interested, not enough to buy a PS4, but enough to watch Let's Plays. Can anyone recommend one? Why are you asking? Just go look it up on YouTube. Why are you asking? I'm looking for one that gets all the lore and flavorful dialogue on the visit.
Jay in the chat is saying, you're not a real gamer if you haven't tested out porn on the VR.
I'm pretty sure there's some sort of journalist would probably take that clickbait. I'm positive of that.
Oh yeah, most certainly.
And then they'll do a hypocritical article saying the reason why it's bad.
These 36 double D boobs. In
Oh my
face.
god, this is so horrible! Did you enjoy it? Of course I enjoyed it. Oh god, it's horrible!
They're all soy boys, aren't they? They're a parody of themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one. Well, I'm not sure I can get behind your thinking. I fully support Let's Plays as great adverts for games. I've bought plenty because watching other people play them looks so fun, but you flat out say you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone this guy Ballpen in the comments says, Mac, you clearly value video games largely based on their story. You're a copywriter, so I get it. There are games I definitely have not completed and don't feel the need to complete either. For me, though, most games don't hit that peak level of enjoyment I seek until I've reached a level of mastery. That makes me appreciate the gameplay and mechanics on a far greater level than face value.
Wait. Wolf, is someone getting ready to launch you into space?
What?
I thought I heard someone counting down at the space station over there.
What? Did I give clearance to a shuttle launch? I don't remember allowing that at Baku. Let me double check. Nope, I didn't clearance that. If someone's launching, they'll be court-martialed later.
I've got a question for everyone here.
Yeah.
What if a game journalist played and when Skyrim came out, for instance, what if they played and reviewed Skyrim but admitted they didn't complete the main story?
At that point, go ahead, Wolf.
I would seriously question their credibility. For starters.
What about you, Rabbit?
For me, it all depends on how they wrote the review. If they clarify that they didn't play through the main story, but they did a bunch of side quests, and they're talking about how they enjoyed just the gameplay itself, then it's credible. But if they're talking about how it has a great story and they never completed it, then they're full of BS.
Yeah, because someone made sort of that similar comment on my video. They said, "Oh, I don't mind if a journalist reviewed Skyrim but didn't complete the main story." I'm like, but that's the whole point in that game is you've got the main story and you've got side quests and you can do, but the developers have still intended for you to play the main story first.
Yeah. And honestly, that main story is pretty short if you know what you're doing. I think it can be beaten about 2 hours if you're not using glitches or anything. If you're using glitches, you can beat it in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you use fast? Here's a thing. Do any of you use fast travel in any Bethesda RPGs?
Yes.
I never do.
I'm with you, Rabbit. I'm with you, Rabbit.
I use it I will use fast travel when I feel like I want to get to a certain point. But I also really do like, doing all the traveling on my own too. Yeah. But I mean, if I have to get to a certain point for I'm doing a quest for someone and they're like, hey, go to this point, and I don't want to walk all the way there again. I'm going to use fast travel.
I think that's why with my Fallout New Vegas, that's the difference between me and my wife. We're both playing Fallout New Vegas at the moment. I'm trying to remember what my hour count is up to. It's beyond 160 hours, and I have rarely used fast travel. I literally go da 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 da, and her she's invested in the perk, the Explorer perk, so all of the locations appear on the map. Which I haven't bothered with that perk because I think that kind of spoils the immersion of discovering a location. And she fast travels everywhere, even though she's probably spent probably a little bit less hours than me, but she's been more active in the quest, in the main quest storyline and such. And she's now blitzed through about 3 of the DLCs because I've got the Game of the Year edition, and there's me going, I'm going to take a nice stroll from the Gunrunner Arsenal all the way down to the bottom of the map. So let's go to Camp Searchlight, shall we? All the way down south.
I think in Fallout 3, I played through a large majority of the game, From what I remember, I did it twice. And what I normally do is, like, if I find a location and I want to explore it, I go in, I explore it, I scrounge everything I possibly can. So I do spend a considerable amount of time inside each location. If it's like a vacant building or a site or a place where I can find, loot and stuff, I'm a freaking hoarder, and I'm going to go look for everything that's valuable to me that I can use.
Yeah. Over encumbered shit, and that's the only time I'll ever use fast travel. I go, I'll just stick a bunch of weapons in this dead guy's body. I'm just going to go fast travel to this merchant. There you go, I'm going to sell this stuff. I'm just going to fast travel back. I'll be back. Wait here for me, all right? I will be back. I promise. Fast travel. Zip. Right, come back to the guy. Gather all up the other items of the dead body. Fast travel. Yeah, that's the only time.
And I think that some of the first things I did in Fallout 3, the version I have is I played through all the DLC. So I went through what was it? The Pittsburgh level.
Operation Anchorage.
Yeah, Operation Anchorage, the Pit, and New Orleans.
Or the Point Lookout, I think it was called.
I think that was it. Yeah, I did all the DLC because I wanted all the fancy new weapons. And then I went back to the normal game and went to go kill everything. Because like, oh, hey, look, a Gauss sniper rifle. I wonder how I can use this against the enemies that I have to face.
Enters town, quick saves. NPCs go, shit.
They go, where did he go? Where did he just go?
Oh, yeah, the stealth suits.
The stealth boys, yeah.
Oh, no. One of the suits in Anchorage, you get a Chinese stealth suit.
Oh, cool.
And an electrified ninja sword.
I think, isn't it in Fallout 3? Again, I've only played a little bit of it, and I need to come back to it urgently. But isn't there like a is it a Brotherhood of Steel? It's like the medic armor of Brotherhood of Steel, and it completely if you're trying to be a stealth character, it completely spoils it because you get the Brotherhood of Steel medic armor has like a built-in AI or something, and it yells out. It goes, "Enemies ahead!"
I don't think I've. I don't
like
think
soldiers need reviving.
I don't think I've ever. No, I think I did wear one of the Brotherhood of Steel armor sets, but I don't think it was the medic one. It was, I think, their standard infantry version. I don't think I ever picked up the medic version.
Yeah. But I heard about this. Like I saw like some comment thread or something, and someone was saying about this medic armor, and it literally spoils if you're trying to be stealthy. It just goes, "Of course, ahead."
Yeah,
soldiers need healing.
Of course, it also will do. Also, the game will do that if you have any form of companionship with you, because the companions are automatically tailored to attack the target. So if you have anybody with you, even if you have dog meat or anybody, they're gonna go after the enemy before you can even sneak up to kill them, unless you leave them behind, which is what I did a lot of the time. It's like, I don't need companionship. I'm breezing through this game on my own just fine. I don't need help.
Yeah, companions. That's what ESO is for.
I tell you what, now that we're talking about Fallout, who would love a Fallout TV show?
That would work really well.
It would, wouldn't it? Like, you know how like with the X-Files and Supernatural, it's got like the Monster of the Week kind of episodes.
Yeah,
that are not tied to like the sort of grand main story arc of that season.
Yeah.
Right.
But that would really, I think Fallout would really work in a TV episodic way, in which, you know, like, oh, each week, like he does a side, you know, the character does some kind of side quest. For instance.
Yeah. That would actually work really well.
Because it's got so many awesome, like the lore within Fallout is absolutely amazing.
No companions, but what about Best Boy Dog Meat?
He was very tasty.
Actually, I do think I would normally have him with me most of the time.
Rex is best.
I don't remember any of the other companions from Fallout 3.
Did you not play New Vegas?
No, I didn't get a chance to play New Vegas.
there was a dog companion called Rex. He was
Oh,
literally
I remember a friend playing the game, so I do know who Rex is. He was a cyborg dog.
yeah.
Far
His
cooler than
brain
dog.
in a jar.
Oh, man. Yeah, to be honest, I'm sort of out of my element whenever it comes to talking about Fallout because while I like the games, I can't play them myself because I have a hard time walking across barren wastelands. I'm more of the Elder Scrolls type because I like things that are filled with a little more life. But my God, does Fallout have great stories?
Yeah.
The whole sort of the Brotherhood of Steel and the NCR, the Legion.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good lore and story in those games too. Some of my favorite parts. I like the Brotherhood of Steel because I just like the mechanical suits. They're a cool group of dudes. I sometimes question why there would be a Brotherhood of Steel in every single location sometimes. Because it doesn't make a lot of sense for them to be everywhere. But I think what was it, in Fallout 4 they were there too, and I'm like, wait, why are they here? It doesn't make sense. You have the Minutemen here. Why do we need the Brotherhood of Steel too? Aside from just having the option to wear the suit. Just say it's like, well, the Brotherhood of Steel left shit. They left. They're not here. Their base is gone. Or well, it's vacant. But you can go and pick up everything. I don't know.
Because what is it? Netflix they're doing the Witcher TV show.
Oh, there's a Witcher TV show coming out. I did not know that.
Yeah. And the thing is, they've now got showrunners and writers from Marvel's Daredevil and Jessica Jones.
Not bad choices.
As well as writers from Supernatural, I think they've worked on as well. But they're definitely. They said that they're definitely going to stay close to the source material from the books, as well as some references from the video game series as well. But the thing is, like, who to cast as Geralt of Rivia?
Or maybe they should make it an entirely mocap CGI series, like what they did with Beowulf. Because as much as Beowulf, the movie that was mocapped, the story was butchered.
Yeah.
The animations and stuff were great.
Well, what about that CGI trailer for Witcher 3? Do you remember the announcement trailer for Witcher 3? With that,
but I kind of vaguely.
Yeah.
I think a woman is being like hung. Geralt goes to like pick up his bounty for an animal that some monster that he's killed, but then he sees these bandits are also about to attack this woman, so he literally fucks them up. He's like chopping their jaws in half and slicing them up. Yeah, I kind of agree with you there, Rabbit. Yeah, like if they were to go the sort of CGI route, that would also.
Yeah, it'd also help in making sure that the monsters actually feel like they're part of the world instead of it being out of place because it's CG in a live action series.
Yeah.
Yeah. That could work. I don't know if I would watch it, but
and you could also bring back Doug. Is his name Doug Cockle, who does the voice of Geralt?
I'm not fully sure. I've never had the chance to play the games. I've only read the books.
Yeah, if they could get the voice actor that does Geralt in the games,
it would definitely be a lot easier than trying to recast him.
Someone in the chat, Maverick MX says if there was a Fallout TV show, it'd prefer a story centering around the Brotherhood of Steel or a Brotherhood of Steel soldier.
That could work. It'd be more of a side story, but yeah, it could really work.
I think narratively that would probably be the best way to approach it, because trying to follow the way that most of the games play, I don't think would work out very well, because it's from the perspective of a player character.
True.
And it would be a little trickier, because it's like if they were to adapt something either like Fallout New Vegas or Fallout 3 or any of the other ones, it would have to be centered around the protagonist of that game. Which might be trickier to do.
I've got... Go on, Rabbit, you first, because...
yeah.
Okay, I was just going to say, in the sense of Fallout New Vegas, also before I say this, Maverick, you almost triggered my X-Buster. Be careful. Anyhow, but in the case of New Vegas, the way I could see them doing that is instead of focusing on the player character, if they were to make a TV series based off that, focus on the main villain and his rise to power.
Oh, what, Mr. House?
Yeah, that way we see a different angle, whereas everyone else will wonder, okay, what's going on with this person? Why are they sending all these guards out and different stuff to take care of this one person? But if you play the games, you realize you are that one person that's causing them all these issues.
Yeah.
So the personal experience from Fallout New Vegas with the player, but it gives the viewers a very unique perspective on the entire franchise.
See, if they were to do it, if they were to do a TV show, you could create a completely new character that is just like the playable character in the games. You can create a whole new written character within the TV show, and there's also the possibility. What if you had characters? You're showing characters from different parts. So you've got a Vault-Tec, a Vault-Tec dweller, someone in one of the vaults. You've got a Brotherhood of Steel soldier. Perhaps you've got another group of survivors just out in the wasteland. You've got a tribal fiend, and then it would be interesting showing that each of those individual characters' personal story arcs and how they eventually cross paths and meet, and then perhaps that would be an interesting way of then bringing all those characters together and with the overall story arc. Of the TV show.
Good.
Yep.
Damn it, we need to get this Fallout TV show on the go.
Someone yeah, I was about to say someone. Were we both about to say someone contact Netflix?
And Bethesda as well.
Seems like a very relaxed
Go ahead.
Oh, go on, Rabbit.
Well, I was just going to say, speaking of video games getting TV shows, I'm not sure how I feel about the new Mega Man CGI cartoon coming out.
I have not seen very much of it. I only remember seeing maybe one trailer. I know I wasn't overtly impressed. I barely remember it. And that's pretty bad too. It's it can be really bad if nobody even remembers it exists.
I also see you, Tailey.
Oh. Bye.
Yeah, tea leaves up. Thanks for tuning in, bud.
Have a fun evening or day or morning, wherever it is you may be.
It would be afternoon for them right now. Well, no, maybe evening, because they're about 3-4 hours ahead of me right now. So
yeah, that would be probably getting closer to evening.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh that video game writers are actually more, and video game developers and creators are actually more creative and imaginative than people that work in Hollywood and TV.
Yeah.
That's the reason why we have so many indie developers and whatnot that manage to make better games.
I mean, when you think about it, while it is surprising, at the same time, it's sort of not, because movie developers, they just have to focus on a beginning and an end and come up with a linear progression through the middle. Whereas game developers, they have to account for many variables that will happen based off of player input.
Yeah.
So they have to be a bit more creative than the normal writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's the one thing, I'm struggling to, with this sci-fi game that I've been juggling around in my brain for about the past 5 years or more. And I really, I think I've shared it with the Flat Pack and a few other people of this sci-fi game. It's like a sort of survival thriller, sort of futuristic game.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I've told you guys a sort of brief outline of the synopsis.
I remember you saying that you had a game plan, but sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think you've told me parts of it, but I don't remember.
Yeah. It was the prison planet.
Oh yeah.
Where the crime rates have gone up globally around the world. So this private corporation has offered to literally ship off all of the prison population the global prison population to this planet that they've discovered that's got this unique gravity that can contain nothing can escape from the planet, and so you play as an employee for this company. You play as a prison guard aboard this aboard the ship, and shit hits the fan as usual in these kind of situations. Because originally I had an idea for a sequel, but I've kind of been thinking about maybe like breaking it up episodically.
Yeah.
See, it's just a matter of like literally cracking down, writing like a first draft of like a screenplay.
Right.
Yeah.
But I definitely want like everyone's help. Like if everyone wanted to do like, I don't know, voice work and things like that, because I got loads of really cool ideas. And
yeah.
If you ever need a voice, I got many of them. I've got too many in my head. Yes, sometimes I don't know if I'm actually talking or if I'm just hearing the voices.
Yep.
But yeah, after I did that interview with that Wormhole Wars developer,
yeah,
hashtag Teabaggate. But yeah, that guy Lars was really. I had some questions from some people. They asked, you know, like, what advice would you give to people that are wanting to start up in indie game development and this, that, and the other? And he gave some really nice advice. He said, you know, start off small first, like a small little project, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't put all of your ideas into one project. Otherwise, otherwise, if you know what happens if you blow your load too early.
That is some good advice. I mean, it's why I actually have two projects going on. I got the one I've been working on for 12 plus years now. Well, no, it'd be 12 years exact, which is my tabletop RPG, Legend of the Crimson Kings, or LOC for short.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, it's Dark Age fantasy with a little twist that instead of it being humans, elves, dwarves, and all that stuff, it's just humans are the only species left alive right now. However, the bloodlines of the other species that have passed on or, you know, moved on to different realms and can't come back now exist in mixed breeds. Like there's purebreds, which are pure human, ancient bloods, which have a bit of, you know, clearly magical ability from ancient races that used to be there, like elves and so on and so forth, or as I'll call them in this, abyssals. And then there's dragon folk, which have which have descended bloodlines from the last surviving dragon. And pretty much they're all human. Dragons are gone, elves, dwarves, and all that are gone. They're all human, but they all have their own special abilities due to what their lineage comes from. Like as I said, ancients have better magical ability. Dragon folk have better strength, and pure blood humans have a better faith capacity. So,
It's really cool.
Yeah, it's been a work in progress for a long time, and it's coming around. I just need to get money to get some artwork so I can put it on Kickstarter and then just get the publishing fees. Then I can just say, all right, we got everything. It's out. I finished everything within 12 years. Thank God.
Yep.
But yeah, as to the not putting one's eggs in the basket, or I can't even think. My brain is not working. Come on, brain.
Putting all your eggs in one basket.
Thank you. But the other thing the other project I have that I just have an outline of it, and I'm going to say it on here so I could say, hey, guess what? The copyright is here because it's posted on YouTube. Haha. Is something that I've called Sphere PC, which the PC stands for Planetary Combat, where it's a first-person shooter that's sci-fi, and it's just a simple run gunner where you run around. It's arcade, you can shoot, but the difference is instead of there being death zones on maps, like in most ones, like Call of Duty, Battlefield, so on and so forth, where you go too far, it says, get back in or you're going to die.
Yeah.
At those edges, I want to implement something that's been lost to the ages. The last time we saw it was in the Super Nintendo, map scrolling, where if you go to one side of the map, it scrolls you all the way to the other side. making it to where it's a full-on spear that you're combating on. So you could look one way, see somebody, go, "Oh, I got this! I got my sniper rifle!" Bang! You just shot yourself in the back of the head. It's a simple premise, but I think it could do good because first-person shooters are very popular, and this would actually be a unique take on how everything is done.
Battle Royale. That'd be insane. Everyone would be shooting themselves in the back. Like, I can see someone bang. Oh, I just died by myself. It's literally everyone just parachutes in and shoots themselves in the back. The quickest battle royale match ever. 100 players just bang dead.
Oh, let's see. Mugen saying just announced the Gundam Breaker model bundle for new Gundam Breaker. Are you talking about the what was it?
The Japanese exclusive, or the or they bring it to America?
Are we getting an American version? Because all I know is the Japanese version, and I know it comes with a clear version of the H2 Magnum from the current season of Gundam Build Divers.
Yeah. Because honestly,
I don't want the clear version. It's like if you're going to put that model kit in, bye, brother.
Bye.
If you're gonna do that, I want the normal version. I don't want a clear version. Or if you're gonna do that, at the very least, I don't know, give it like a metallic finish or something. I don't know. But
well, in all fairness, if you don't want a clear version, you could always paint it.
Yeah, waste time painting it. That sounds like fun. No, that's a high grade kit. Why the heck would you give us a clear version of a high grade?
It might be a real grade kit.
It's not.
It's not. Ah, damn.
It's a high grade. I know it is.
I just saw this tweet by the Quartering. So I think he's just uploaded a new video. It says, world-class grifter Anita Sarkeesian interviews with the famous Amanda Knox, the girl that spent 4 years in an Italian prison, and shows her what an actual victim looks like. So Anita Sarkeesian interviews Amanda Knox.
Anytime I hear Anita Sarkeesian, I go full clinch because it's thing of, oh god, why?
Apparently Boogie made like a snide comment about her with regards to VidCon this.
I don't remember Boogie saying anything particularly snide.
Oh, there you are, Flat.
You went robotic for a second, I think.
Or did I go robotic and
yeah, you lost connection for a brief second, I think.
Damn you, King!
What I was saying, last year at VidCon, Anita Sarkeesian shouted and yelled at Boogie backstage after their panel that they did.
Yep, that I remember.
And what was it? Yeah, here you go. I think he was like at PewDiePie. Yeah, Boogie said, I do go to VidCon, but I don't give a fuck about being worshipped. Since I'm in gaming and not a beauty blogger, it's pretty chill and just like a big fan meetup. I love it. You know, when I'm not being screamed at in the face by a fellow panelist.
Oh, that's the first time I thought Boogie even had a spine.
I know. He's so spineless, isn't he? Like he always tries to fence it.
I try to be as nice to him as I possibly can. He's a nice guy and all, but the problem that he had with his response after the situation with Anita was incredibly spineless on his part. Even if you don't like confrontation, which I get, it's like it's clear that the person is not a good person if they're yelling at you.
Yeah.
And if they're not willing to apologize.
Well, Hank Green? Is that the Green brothers? They didn't tell her off for that moment. Nope.
But it was completely okay for her to call out Sargon.
Yeah.
At VidCon. That's completely fine. She didn't do anything wrong, and she can even yell at Boogie. Nope. Can't punish her because equality. Punish other people, sure, but you can't punish her because equality. That's how that works.
Yeah, equality. That's the term we're using, not flipping the status quo.
Or bias. Or the fact that they have a bias.
Because I thought what he said in the actual panel that he was saying out to the people watching, he goes, I want to cultivate a community with love and positivity, which I think all three of us can agree with that.
Yeah.
I want to cultivate on my YouTube channel, I'm sure on your guys' channels as well.
I think that's the original intent of most channels, is that they want to, it's like a place for discussion, a place for fun and entertainment. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not like everyone is proactive. I know there are some people who proactively seek out, trouble and whatnot, but most channels don't. They're just, want to entertain people and have fun and enjoy themselves on YouTube. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And those people that do seek out drama and want to just call out and stuff like that, we call those people drama queens.
Or drama whores.
I mean, frankly, there's a harsher word that we call them, but I'm keeping it PG for right now.
PG. PG-13.
Yes, I'm keeping it PG, goddammit.
Buy your leave, sir.
But Anita Sarkeesian is very much of the mindset of it's okay to hate your oppressor. Even though she's not oppressed.
Yeah. It's like, have you ever heard of turning the other cheek?
Yeah. She's of this mindset that, misogynists are attacking me. And I'm a victim of misogyny, so it's okay to hate men. Because they are privileged.
So let me get this right. The extremely filthy rich white woman isn't privileged. Yet these guys who say, hey, take responsibility for your actions are. Sounds like someone's sexist, but clearly it has to be the men. No way it could be this lady who's, judging people just based off of what they were born as.
I'll just call them drama bitches. Is that more original? Sure.
Yes.
But boy, did she really shout at Boogie though. Like, I wish it was on camera, caught on camera.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not. So we're just taking it from.
But I can imagine her doing that. Like, she said something like, "I can't believe that you fucking." Give me a chance. Not giving me. Oh, hello.
You're back.
Yeah, you're back.
She said something along the lines of, "Oh, I can't believe you fucking said that, knowing that I wouldn't have time to respond."
What?
I know it was when she said, like,
he was being incredibly reasonable through the entire panel. He was never mean to her, and he gave everybody adequate time. Yeah. He just pointed out his own personal experiences with dealing with hate and vitriol online, because he's had to contend with it, because everybody does. Yeah. There are people, even on small YouTube channels, who will say either mean or injurious things, either to troll or to incite you to respond. Normally my response to those types of comments and trolls is to me just troll back. but it's like for Boogie, he's been literally sent death threats that actually were legitimate. Like someone actually apparently tried to hire some sort of assassin to kill him for some reason.
Yeah, it wasn't on the deep web.
He's been mailed literal dog shit.
Yeah. Like that's scary that someone has his address.
Yeah, well, that changed. I think he moved immediately after that, or something to that nature. But the truth of the matter is that he's gotten it far worse than Anita has.
Yeah,
because we're basing everything off of what Anita tells us, and all she said is that she's gotten mean comments and death threats. Yeah, well, Boogie has evidence of far worse than that. Someone actually trying to kill him.
Yeah.
To proactively look for a way to kill him.
Yeah, I feel for Boogie because I've had sort of the same thing happen to me. I've had death threats since my direction. I still even have evidence saved on my computer for if things happen up again, to where some random dickhole decided to go ahead and start sending me death threats because I was talking to someone they were interested in. I was thinking of, dude, the person's just a friend. I don't care about being in a relationship with someone that's halfway across the globe from me.
Yeah.
But he ended up sending messages to my phone even. I don't even know how he got my phone number because even my friend that I was talking to didn't have my phone number. So he could only get it from hacking a system to figure out what my phone number is or stalking. It's thinking of what the hell.
Yeah.
And it lasted for a full year of death threats until I eventually said, you know what, screw it. I've got my IT degree. I'm checking this out. Traced the stuff back. Found out who it was exactly. Sent the information and evidence to the police. And he now is serving around 10 to 12 years in prison because of some of the stuff he said and did.
Yeah.
There you go. And from what we know about Anita's claims and whatnot, the FBI checked all of them, and none of them were valid threats. Even the one, like, what was it? There was a threat that they were going to bomb the university. I think it was a university in Utah or something. I don't remember. That she was supposed to join it or be a part of. She was going to be in a panel or a discussion. And someone threatened to, like, kill everybody with a bomb. And they said they had, like, I think they said they had, like, 700 bombs or something to that nature. The FBI investigated and found nothing. They found out it was just a fake threat. It was just somebody venting or causing trouble.
Yeah.
Because it's like even they didn't buy it. Because it's like, that's an awful lot of explosives to take to one event.
Yeah. Normally in a single event, the only type of an amount of explosives that someone would take if they were intending to do something would normally be maybe 4 or 5 at most.
Yeah, I don't think you need that many.
Because the shock waves do more damage than the actual explosion.
Yeah. Hi, Crumple Point. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? I haven't said hello. So, there, I said hello. But still, yeah, the FBI, she's sent all the, she's claimed to have sent the threats and all the, all the mean things that people have said,
People
to the
said
FBI.
I suck. And that I'm a liar and I suck on the internet.
I get that at least once a week. Get over it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just think of if someone says in a comment to a video or something that you post or something that you post in general, it says no one cares. You reply to them with thanks for caring enough to comment.
I think that what was it? I got a comment on my Final Fantasy video. I don't remember what it was. It was something like using the word retard, and I'm all like, what? Hold on, let me go see if I can actually find the video in question, because
I was just about to say, yeah, Mugen Fool also brings up Brianna Wu. Like, because she's now running for Congress or something, or Senate, she's like, the FBI said that Gamergate, they found no evidence that Gamergate was a harassment campaign. When I get elected for Senate or Congress, I'm going to open up the case again. I'm like,
why?
So waste taxpayers' money. Got it.
Exactly. But Mugen Fool says, do you remember when Brianna Wu was caught sending her own threats? Yeah, because she screenshot a threat, screenshot a tweet threat or something, and it said 2 seconds ago. I'm like, wow, how the hell did you screenshot that threat? I think that might have been the one that Mugen Fool might be referencing. I'm sure she's probably done it numerous times. But there was this whole thing with Jason Schreier, the journalist at Kotaku. He won the Kunkel Award for Best Professional Journalist.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about this? The Kunkel Award was created in part by Gamergate itself, right?
Yeah.
So he was awarded with this award for Best Journalism for investigating that Battlefront 2 EA developer claiming they were receiving death threats after the whole microtransaction BS in Battlefront 2.
Right.
And he did the investigation and found it was all a hoax, it was all false information. There is no EA developer that received death threats. This is by some random troll. this comment. And so he received this award, but he couldn't help but then tweet about it, going, haha, I bet Gamergaters are really pissed off at the delicious irony that I received an award that they partly created. So he's basically slapping in the face the judges that work for this professional journalism organization or something that awarded him this award. And then Zoe Quinn couldn't help but then insert herself in and going, you weren't the worst victim of Gamergate. I was. Do I need to bring... And people were theorizing, does she literally catalogue, like from 4 years ago? Like, does she literally catalogue 4 years worth of tweets? Anything referencing or relating Gamergate?
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past her. It's so funny how she's just, oh, my Patreon is getting a bit low. I need to drum up some faux outrage.
Gotta make sure you get that faux outrage out there somehow.
Talking of Patreon, check mine out.
Link in the description.
Patreon.com/Flattmeister.
Send us money. We're dying.
Yes.
Hashtag shameless plug.
Yes, you can find my Patreon at patreon.com/give me your money.
I can't believe some of these like female, like these feminists, like, oh, my Patreon to help me pay for rent and stuff.
Oh,
because
okay, yeah. This was the comment I was remembering that I saw. This is the one. Okay, I thought it would take me directly to that comment. Well, did it? Okay, yeah. It says, "Learn to talk and get to the point, retard." My response is like,
to you?
that was a comment sent to me from my Final Fantasy video. It's like, have you ever heard of tone and feeling when speaking? I'm guessing not, but thanks for your insightful input. That was my response to him.
Oh man, but yeah, on the thing that Flat Talk was mentioning about how there's a lot of quote unquote feminist game journalists out there, and it's the thing of, I feel sort of bad for the people who were the original feminists back in the day that actually worked for equality, because their names have now been dragged through the mud. It's like I've always said, groups are not a permanent solution, because power will ultimately corrupt anything. It doesn't matter what group you're in. And it's the thing, people need to learn to think as individuals, because right now, people are normally joining the quote-unquote feminist group purely to get a pat on the back. It is not because they're actually fighting for equality. It's the thing of, oh, I did this. Someone praised me for it. That's not why you should be trying to do. Because if you're trying to fight for actual equality, as in getting everyone to be treated equal, you don't try to tear people down so that you build yourself up. You try to build yourself and a community up without tearing the other people down to try to get everyone on the same level. There is a key difference there.
Oh, yeah. I think that some of the better way to get people to join your side is to be more reasonable and to be more understanding. If you automatically, point to like either, insults that mean nothing now because you've dragged those words to the point where they don't mean what they used to mean anymore. Mm-hmm. It's like calling someone Nazi, calling someone racist, sexist. It's like, you've used it too much. Now the word means nothing. Are you happy?
You forgot alt-right.
There's that too. It's like, it means nothing. I mean, yeah, you could say the same thing for the opposite side. Anybody who uses the term SJW, yeah, it pretty much means nothing now too. Because it's been overused.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that SJW is sort of a stupid term, because the people that classify themselves as SJWs don't know what justice is. They just know what privilege is.
Yeah, and they also don't understand that they're being insulted.
Yeah.
When someone does use it, it's normally meant as an insult, the same as calling someone racist or sexist. It's the same thing. You're trying to insult them, but you suck at insulting.
That's why I like the new insult of soy boy is the new one. I love soy boy.
At least it's slightly more clever.
Yeah.
With the soy boy shark mouth. When when they post in selfies, they go.
Funny thing is, I've made that face before. I've done silly faces, but I do it for fun. I don't go into that whole soy boy thing. It's like, so what? Let them have as much soy in their system as they want. Who cares?
Yeah, the only thing I feel bad is that as soon as people get labeled with a title like SJW or Soy Boy or something like that, in general, it's a thing of no matter what, we know exactly what phrase matches what's going to happen to them as a whole in general.
They're going to continue to be mocked for the things that happened in the past.
That, as well as Omoya, moe shinderu.
Nani?
Mugen Phil was saying that first wave feminism was the best.
Agree.
Yeah, first and second wave. But this
was fine. The problem with I think a lot of the third wave stuff is I think I remembered this from like several years back when I was growing up. There were some feminists that were just incredibly angry and mean.
Andrea Dworkin.
Yeah. They were basically man haters. They weren't even feminists, but now basically they've become the mainstream. It's like, oh, basically, so this third wave feminists are just all the feminists that hate men and also hate other women because they're not as pretty as those women.
I mean, what about all this sort of fear mongering over incels?
What?
Oh,
have you not heard about this? The incels.
I don't even know what an incel is.
Pretty much. Go ahead, Flat. You'll probably explain it better.
I was basically going to say it stands for involuntarily celibate. Yeah, go on, Rabbit.
AKA, they're pretty much using what describes me, someone who has not done the deed because they don't focus on trying to do the deed, and they're using it as an insult to say, oh, you're one of these, but not because you're not trying to, but because no woman would ever want to be with you. At least that's what I understand.
It's like it's a really insulting term. I know a lot of like some people like what's the word? Like they embrace the term, like they identify as an incel. I don't know why you do.
Identifying myself as a freaking Gundam. It doesn't mean I'm actually a Gundam.
I identify as a super mega uber Gundam.
But Wolf, clearly you must be a Gundam. You're pilotable. You have a joystick.
And Rabbit gets sent to the corner for that one.
All right.
I really feel for young men and it goes for young women as well that perhaps have low self-esteem and confidence.
Yeah. Welcome to my life.
that maybe don't that are socially anxious. They have social anxiety. They have a lot of I don't know, social problems, or they find it hard to socialize with other people.
Oh yeah, it happens. There's a lot of them.
And I can understand that really getting to you mentally in a really negative way, but it doesn't help with all of these SJWs then further demonizing these people.
No.
Yeah, agreed. Because essentially, it's essentially them saying, "Oh yeah, you can't do this." Sorry, let me phrase this. Saying, "Oh, they're these SJWs who are actually, I'm going to call them what Mugenful said, social privilege warriors, so SPWs. I like that. These SPWs are out there going, oh, you're a horrible person because you're trying to have sex, or oh, you're a horrible person because you'll never get it. What the hell?
Yeah. Well, they're turning it into the narrative that they're trying to connect incels with males. And they're going, when you automatically think incels, you think, oh, men. When that's not necessarily true. I'm sure, there's female, there's women that.
How dare you assume their gender?
Exactly.
It's like, how can you say it's all men that do it?
But
How do you know?
they're pushing this narrative that the incels, they're saying, oh, it's men that feel that they're entitled to sex. I'm like, no.
Aren't there women that do the same?
Like, thank God I'm married, and I found a lovely woman that loves me. But I wouldn't want to be single, because even in the normal dating world, it must be so especially
Terrifying.
it's terrifying, especially for young men, because of this social expectation that it's men that have to make the first step in approaching women.
Yeah, or they have to be more concerned nowadays because of all these new stigmas that they have to contend with in mainstream publication and whatnot. That they're sexist and other sort of things. It's like, it's not going to help their self-esteem. It's going to make it worse.
Yeah, especially hashtag Me Too and
yeah.
God, will you please sign this consent form so I can talk to you? I need you to sign this.
I swear, someday it's going to get to that point. It's like you have to sign a consent form just to say hello.
Isn't that what certain websites are doing, where in order to talk to someone, you have to actually have them accept you on a friend request or something like that first?
Oh my God.
Yeah. What was I? I was thinking of something, because there's a similar problem. There's similar problems all over the world when it comes to like relationships and and getting newer generations to have families and whatnot. And in Japan, it's not like they're doing any better. There's, of course, granted, they're not contending with all this stupid normative or this more idiotic stuff. They're dealing with the fact that the higher expectations for both genders, there's high expectations for the men and the women, and then they just don't feel like they meet those requirements, and they don't even bother dating, which has caused a steady decline in how many new babies are born nowadays.
Yeah.
Or why they prefer 2D waifus.
No, in all fairness, it's probably best, for some people, it's probably best not to have kids. I mean, for me, let's face it, I should not have a kid. We do not need a little mini me running around, or the world will end.
Maybe.
I'm crazy enough as it is. My biological dad acts the same way I do. If there's a third one of us, that is game over. The unholy trinity is here.
I'll keep the existing kitchen layout.
Oh boy. Thanks for emboldening MGTOW feminists.
Because I was about to say, yeah, MGTOW. You can see why. Men are going their own way. I mean, wasn't it the former CEO of Reddit, Ellen Powell, even say, like, she was fear-mongering, people going, you could have incels working in your workplace. Your employees could be incels. It's like,
who cares?
She's basically encouraging other CEOs and managers and such who basically ask people, are you getting enough sex in your personal life? If not, you're an incel. You need to get out.
I have to make another comment. Sorry, I know I've been talking a little too much, but
fine with me.
I've been feeling it's been me that's perhaps talking too much. I want to make sure I'm not dominating their egos. Go on, Brad.
But yeah, this whole stuff that's been going on, it's just really, it's history repeating itself, because the social justice warriors, social privilege warriors, SPWs, as much as they bash everything and they bash old school Christianity, they're doing the same things that old school Christianity did back in the 90s and 80s, where, oh, it's satanic, be away from it. Oh, this person had a Pokemon card in their pocket when the house burned down. Pokemon is satanic. Oh my God. They're doing the exact same thing. It's just repeating.
It's
Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a very big what would be the word? Oh, I know, hypocrisy. Be glad Nerd Wonder isn't here. She'd take over the whole stream. Yes, probably.
I love Nerd Wonder, bless her.
Yeah, she's a lovely lady. She is too good. She is too good for this world, unfortunately. Considering how she responded to Gary Conway, it's like she is far too pure to be hanging out with the likes of us. I really do mean that. It feels like it's like you shouldn't be here. You're far too kind.
That she is, but that's also why we need her around. She helps keep us all leveled.
At least we hope. D&D is of the devil.
Yes, it is of the devil, and soon you will join the cult that is D&D. You will show that you have imagination and love being creative, because that is the evil way. You must be creative. You must not conform. You must do everything of your own free will. Yes, yes, you must.
How in the hell is your voice not hurt from doing that?
Oh, it'll catch up with me. It'll catch up with me.
I was half expecting you to go.
Actually, if you think about it, the funny thing is that the SPWs have already done that. They've tried to attack D&D and tabletop games too.
Yeah, which is funny because as someone who's created a tabletop game and has played D&D since I was 10 or 11, it is everyone's saying, oh, it's promoting white privilege and misogynistic stuff. It's a game where it doesn't matter who you are. You can literally be and do anything you want. There is no one way to do things.
Yeah. Oh. Doing Claw's thing from Inspector Gadget.
Next time, Gadget. Next time.
Call upon Rabbit if you need someone to voice Claw. Okay.
I just saw this tweet from Kotaku.
God.
There's Univision is a fucking mess. And where is it? They then tweeted, we interrupt our video game news programming to bring you a report from our special projects desk, Univision. Our owner is struggling, and Gizmodo Media Group has suddenly found itself under a very watchful eye. Kotaku's struggling.
I wonder why that could be.
There's a tweet by Foxhole HQ. Univision, who owns Kotaku, is dying a slow and painful death.
Let it happen. Let them fall. Is what I say. It can't happen soon enough. Here, let me get the catapult so we can besiege the castle faster. Who the hell are the people? I'm assuming, Spuddy, you mean these people. Well, if you're new here, to the left of me on the screen is Flattmeister, and to the right of me is Rabbit Sensei, who's been here more than Flat has.
Spuddy.
Yeah, Spuddy 89.
Hello, Spuddy 89. How are you today?
Okay, that one hurt to do.
I remember you did that for one of our Monster Hunter sessions. You did that. You did that for like about a half hour or so. Like, how long are you playing a whole thing? Can I join your stream? No. No, Kyle.
Yeah, I remember just thinking,
yes, go kill them. Give them to me so I can swallow their souls.
So I've just come up with another topic that's kind of linking back to game journalists.
Oh, good. Back on topic then.
Back on topic.
Can't I? I'm sorry. It says stream team. I'm sorry. I misread that. That's on me, Kyle. I'm sorry. What team are you referring to? Who are these social justice people? You don't know? Then I would recommend leaving now. If you don't know what we've been contending with, you're better not know.
It's social.
Continue to remain.
SPWs now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Social privilege.
I was going to say, it's like, remain pure. Leave. Be free, my child, and be safe from the insanity.
So anyway, to get back on topic slightly with video games and game journalism, what is everyone's opinion of this? Has it been confirmed? Basically, for Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is not going to have a campaign, no story campaign.
Who cares? It's Call of Duty.
It wouldn't surprise me if that was the case, because frankly, no one really plays those games for the campaign anyway.
I do.
Okay, you play the games for the campaign.
You're the rare exception. I want to be on the stream. Oh, maybe someday, Kyle. Maybe someday. Rabbit was kind of a last minute inclusion. It was basically just going to be me and Flat. So maybe someday.
Yeah, we'll have to set a date for another time.
Yeah,
I'll be up for that.
Because these are two of my favorite people.
now we have Waspinator from Beast Wars.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
when Rabbit does talk like that, he does sound a bit like Waspinator.
Waspinator, terrorize!
Yep, there you go.
Oh, Maverick is with me. He plays Call of Duty solely for the campaign and zombies. I like the zombies mode as well.
That's pretty good. I don't play Call of Duty though, so I don't care. It doesn't affect me.
It doesn't appeal to you. Because apparently with Black Ops 4, they basically want to jump on the Battle Royale hype train.
Oh.
Like, we're better than PUBG and Fortnite. We have 1,000 players. Oh my god.
That'll never work on the console.
Oh my god. They have 1,000 players. But it's not like we're going to play that mode because this one costs money, whereas Fortnite is free.
Calling it a tactical nuke. 1,000 player kill streak.
I think the funny thing is that the last time my brother actually played the last Call of Duty, the World War II one. That took up a lot of space on my PS4, and I'm like, why did you rent this? He's like, I wanted to play it. I wanted to play through the campaign. I'm like, why? It's Call of Duty, and it's the new Call of Duty. They're mainly shit anyway.
See, they need to change up. Like Samurai is saying about shooters bore him quickly. I think they need to make a first-person shooter that feels more gritty and realistic. Now, I think I've said this on one of I think it was a live stream I did with Lord Nurgle.
Could be.
And I said, what if they did in the story? It's like set in the present time, and they've got like a veterans meeting. And so you've got all of these different veterans from different eras. So you've got a World War II veteran. You've got someone that served in Vietnam. You've got 90s Gulf War veteran. You've got sort of modern day Afghanistan, Iraq War veteran as well. They're all of these different veterans, and they're all coming together, perhaps exploring themes of PTSD and shell shock, things like that, and all of these soldiers sharing their story, sharing their experience, and sort of tapping into that like camaraderie and brothers in arms kind of elements as well. So as you're playing as from the perspective of the younger version of this character, of one of the characters, and you hear the narration overhead as well. Going, oh, we stormed the beaches of Normandy and so. So you're going up, whichever, and then you'd switch to like another era from one of the other veterans as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna read some comments. Kyle, I have many subs. Good for you.
How many? How many?
How many is many? Because even if we combined all three of these channels together with the sub counts, we're still not quite at 1,000.
Thanks, YouTube algorithms.
Yes, thank you.
He's also asking why I only have face cam.
I fixed that. Don't worry, it's good now. The only one missing out is Wolf.
That's because my webcam on my laptop doesn't work. That's the reason why you don't see me ever on Facecam. That's why. Is because this thing hasn't worked for a very long time. I don't know what happened to it, but it's broken, and I can't get it to work. Yes, Samurai Raccoon, I would recommend pick up Borderlands. It's far more fun. Play Borderlands. If you want to get into a shooter, either play Halo or Borderlands, because those are the two that I like the most to play.
Actually, if I have to make a suggestion whenever it comes to getting into shooters, my first recommendation, because the one that truly got me into shooters back in the days, was Time Splitters. Specifically Time Splitters 2. But out of modern day ones that are on modern consoles, I say go back one generation to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 and play the Battlefield Bad Company games. They have the best single-player stories.
Yeah. But Borderlands is also a lot of fun, too. I'm trying to think of any other shooters I've played. I mean, you could probably go back if you have a good computer and you can play some of the older first-person shooters there, play some old Doom. You could play the new Doom.
There until it is done.
You could play Unreal Tournament, Quake. What was the other one?
Titanfall 2 is a lot of fun.
Titanfall is fun. I haven't had a chance to play it, but from what I've seen, that would be fun.
Maverick was saying they should set a Call of Duty in the Revolutionary War.
Ooh.
Interesting
I like
option.
that idea.
They're never going to do it.
Yeah,
because it won't be nearly as exciting.
Reload.
Won't be nearly fast-paced.
If you're tapping the X button, they're like, come on, reload.
You'll be like, why is this thing reloading so slowly? Why does it take me a minute to reload? And also, why am I standing in a straight line?
There'd be people hopping up and down like that, trying to reload, jumping up and down.
Either that or Civil War. Civil War would fall under nearly the same category. Most of those guys use muskets too, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because Winchester rifles weren't invented. Well, it was invented around that time, but it wasn't in circulation in the military. The only thing that some of them may have had is 6-shooter revolvers.
Yeah.
And the only ones who would have that would be the Confederate soldiers. And those would also be the Confederate guerrilla soldiers. Even the main soldiers didn't have them.
What were you going to say, Rabbit? What were you going to say?
At first I was thinking something that could be fun is a first-person shooter that's made in the sense of, a pirate game where it's just the setting is pirate, but instead of reloading normally like you would with a musket, you just do what Reaper does, just bang, bang, throw a gun away, bang, bang, throw a gun away, bang, bang, throw a gun away. But after hearing that, I think a really good shooter would actually be one set in the Old West.
Yeah. Well, that's why we have Red Dead Redemption.
Well, I mean, a first-person one because
they did Call of Juarez. Call of Juarez.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
Have you not heard of that? That's a good first-person shooter set in the Wild West.
Ooh, I'll have to check it out.
I think in the first game you played as a gunslinging ex-priest or something, and there was you could pull out your guns and you could also pull out your Bible and start saying prayers to your enemies. You pull out a Bible and start reading passages. John 37:2, and the Lord struck you down.
Oh God, I'd be so tempted to go boom, 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 boom. I kick ass for the Lord.
Samurai's actually asking, are there any shooters set in the Old West? Well, you've been hearing many of them. If I were to recommend one, it would probably be the third-person one. It'd be Red Dead Redemption. Because you get to do all sorts of fun stuff. It's basically Grand Theft Auto, but in the Old West. It's the same thing. It's made by the same company, and it has pretty much the same mechanics. Instead of hijacking cars, you hijack a horse. Actually, in a sense, you own the horse. You
Yeah,
don't even need to hijack.
and
Maverick
you eat the
is-
horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should do like sort of survival elements in number 2 in Red Dead 2. So Maverick is asking us what is our thoughts on Red Dead Redemption 2. Any of us worried?
Considering how long it takes Rockstar to publish a game, no, it doesn't normally concern me.
And they
I
also
mean, Red Dead's the only game that I've ever played of theirs that I actually wanted to play because I'm not a fan of Grand Theft Auto. But I did play Red Dead, but I wasn't very good at it, so I stopped playing it. After a while, it was my friends, but it was cool. I just didn't understand the mechanics very well.
It's been delayed by a year now, so it's coming out October of this year.
Yes, from what I remember, yeah.
Because originally it was supposed to come out, it was set to come out October of last year. Then they said, oh, it's going to come out spring of 2018, and then they delayed it to October of this year.
They always make sure that when they release a game, it has as minimal amount of bugs as they possibly can make it happen.
And then they take a year to another year to then port it to the PC.
Yeah. That would be GTA 5. Congratulations. It's like, considering the substantial player base, you should have tried to make sure that it was only delayed by a month or two. I know you're trying to avoid bugs, but Jesus. And Red Dead Redemption has a freaking fantastic story, too, so.
Just don't finish it if you want to play as John Marston the whole time.
Don't spoil the surprise for Red Dead Redemption.
I'm not spoiling. I'm just saying that it makes you change your character if you're in the free roam after you beat the game. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. That's true.
Talking of John Marston, he does actually appear as a slightly younger self in the newest trailer to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Well, because it's a prequel to Red Dead Redemption.
You can see the recognizable 2 scars that he has on his cheek.
Yeah.
Well, they look like in the trailer. They look like fresh cuts, actually.
Yeah. Because it's with his gang before they all split up and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's the same gang, just now different scenario and different situation, I guess. Don't know if you're going to be playing as John. That I'm uncertain of. But
no, it's probably just a cameo if I had to hazard a guess.
Do you think Rockstar are going to implement the character changing ability that they did in GTA 5?
Ooh.
Considering how many talking points or talking characters I've seen in the trailers and the different people interacting, that's a possibility. That would be cool if they did that. Take the story from different perspectives of different members of the group.
Because that'd be cool. You're like riding in the desert as one character, and then you click and change to another character. The camera zooms up like it does in GTA 5, and then, I don't know, zips into a saloon, and some guy is, the other character's getting beaten up in a bar brawl or something.
Yeah.
And gets thrown out of the bar, and he's like absolutely drunk.
All right, out of curiosity, with Red Dead Redemption 2, am I the only one hoping that the ending will be like Tombstone, where it's just a massive shootout, people are dropping left and right, and only certain people make it out alive? I'm not going to say who, because I know some people haven't seen Tombstone yet.
And then Thanos turns up and clicks his finger, and loads of cowboys disappear.
Well,
that's how Elvis died.
I'm trying to remember how many... Because in the first Red Dead Redemption, it's all about John hunting down former members of his old posse. I don't remember how many of them you have to contend with. I think it's about, 6 of them or so. I don't remember. But basically, you're hired by the government to be a bounty hunter to hunt them down. So the thing that I'm trying to think is, how many members do we see in the trailers? How many of them are different? How many of them are actually members of the party or the posse in this case? And will there be a giant shootout at the end, which would be fantastic? Like Tombstone or gunfight at the OK Corral, something of that nature would be nice. You versus a bunch of lawmen. Hey, here's a fun idea. Allow us to play the lawman too.
Yeah.
Why the heck not? It's like, if we took the idea of like of Grand Theft Auto 5, why not split the difference? Like have one story that focuses, or not just story, but have 3 different characters, 2 from the gang and 1 that's a lawman that's hunting him.
That'd be an interesting sort of polarizing
option.
Yeah, sorry, I was stumped for words then. Yeah, quite polarizing, playing as different characters that have completely different moralities.
Yeah. So it's not only the one thing that always bugs me about the GTA games is like because we don't see anything from the perspective of an officer or anything. It's just like, no, we just focus on the thugs and the criminals because they're the more interesting part of the story. It's like, well, police, who cares about that? This is the reason why I think I like true crime a lot better.
Fair enough.
Because at least you take it from the perspective of a police officer, or if you play Sleeping Dogs, it's like, at least you're an undercover officer.
Or another game series that's very similar to GTA and Red Dead that I personally like a little bit more than both of them, Saints Row.
Yeah. Of course, that's just a massively huge parody on Grand Theft Autos.
Well, the first one actually wasn't. The first one tried to take itself seriously.
It's just that they realized that being a parody version of it is far more fun.
Yeah. Then the second one, you still had seriousness at the beginning, but you earn the zaniness at the midway point. You earn that stuff. 3, they said, okay, we're going to give a fair amount of zany at the beginning, but we're still going to have a main thing you're focusing on. And 4 was just, okay, aliens are attacking. You're the president of the United States, World Congress thing, UK, and everything else. You ride a missile up from the tutorial going up to Don't Want to Miss a Thing from Armageddon. It's just, okay. They know it can't be serious anymore. They embraced it, and I love it.
Yeah. I think that they fully embraced that in 3 was when they fully embraced it. They're like, I know they kind of have more serious moments, but I played Saints Row 3. It's like, yeah, they don't take themselves seriously on that. Because there's like, case in point.
Yeah, case in point, the penetrator.
Or the first few missions. They do not take themselves seriously in the slightest at that point. Which is good. It's far more entertaining when you can make fun of it and be a parody.
Agreed. Oh, also, I just thought something whenever it comes to the Red Dead Redemption 2 stuff that we were talking about. Who's to say that we're technically even playing as part of what Marston's gang is going to be? We might just be a completely different gang altogether, and Marston's gang might be another one that we just encounter.
Yeah. That could be true. We don't know. It would all depend on like if we see Marston talking with anyone.
True.
And what the context of those conversations are.
Like Maverick is saying, imagine a giant shootout with another gang, and also with the sheriffs who are trying to kill you and the rest of Dutch's gang.
Yeah.
The Mexican standoff, like the good and the bad, the ugly. One officer, you, and then one of the enemy gang. I'd want that. I would want that.
Yes.
And you half expect the good, the bad, the ugly music to come in. Who's gonna shoot first?
I think that they did really well with their soundtrack for Red Dead as well. You know, they focused entirely on like spaghetti western style music and one. It was like, this feels like when I used to watch an old John Wayne film or an old western. It's like it just feels the same, which is a wonderful aesthetic that I hope they continue with. I don't want to hear any rock or rap or any of that BS. Please don't do that.
So you don't want to hear any...
I'm a cowboy, motherfucker.
I don't want to hear that.
So you don't want to hear, I'm a cowboy, baby.
No, I don't want to hear that. If they're going to do that for like promotional stuff or anything of that, it's like the only thing I'm going to allow is like Wanted Dead or Alive, and that's it.
Fair.
Anything above that, I'm gonna call it to question.
And then, of course, we get the death metal riding the horse.
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Oh, you know, someone's probably gonna mod that into the game.
Probably. They probably will. They'll probably have a lot of fun with that.
Ooh, that'd be good writing music for the finale ride, though, on Red Dead 2, Ghost Riders in the Sky. That would work. Because it's got that twang to everything in it, so I think it.
Yep. Yep. Good take an old Johnny Cash song or something, maybe.
What's that? What's the name of that John Wayne cowboy movie where he gets sick and tired of his nagging wife, and so he chases her through the town and then kneels her over his knee and spanks her butt in front of the entire town, in front of all the other villagers.
I don't think they were married.
This is the first I'm ever hearing of this.
I'm trying to remember the movie because I know which one. I think that was North to Alaska.
Let me find out.
Yes, double check for me. I am a John Wayne enthusiast, but even I can't remember everything. Was either that? No, I can't. I don't think it's Mr. Cogburn, but it could be.
Oh, is it McClintock?
Oh, it's McClintock. That's the one. It was either. Yeah.
John Wayne spanks Elizabeth Allen.
Kinky.
Yeah, that was the. I don't know because I don't think I watched McClintock very much. I think I only watched it like once. I watched North to Alaska way more. And other ones like The Shootist, Big Jake, El Dorado.
I didn't know it was an animated movie.
Huh? What was an animated movie?
Sorry, flat first. He was saying something.
I was about to say the fact that he does it in full view of just the rest of the townsfolk.
It's because John Wayne don't care.
She climbs up a ladder, and the townspeople are going like that on the ladder, and she's like, "Oh no!"
If I remember, I think that out of all of his movies I ever watched, McClintock was probably one of his most lighthearted ones that he ever did.
Oh yeah, she falls off the ladder into the horse trough.
Yeah, I think like movies like North to Alaska and McClintock are the lightest ones he ever did that I can remember. I mean, they always had some form of humor in a lot of them, where they'd do something silly and goofy. Like he'd shove someone somewhere, or he'd get into a bar fight or something in this really weird and silly situation. But it wasn't like the entire tone of the film was that. But for like North to Alaska and McClintock, it was like that was just campy, very lighthearted. It's like I don't even remember there being any like gunfights of any kind.
Yeah.
It was more like kind of like a Western romantic comedy was both of what they were. Because any of his more serious and some of the more grittier ones, they took themselves more seriously. I think the only time when I remember it being really funny, but also they took themselves seriously, I think, was The Sons of Katie Elder. Because it's like him and he has all these brothers, and it's like the constant infighting with the brothers, and was actually very hilarious. I think one of his sons might have actually been in that movie, but I don't remember.
But, did you know that he was originally he was originally offered a part in Blazing Saddles?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, but he turned it down. According to the commentary stuff that Mel Brooks did on the DVD, he said that John Wayne turned down at one point, saying that he loved the story, but if he was in it, he'd never be able to work in cinema again, or something like that.
You might have been.
I've still yet to watch Blazing Saddles, but apparently that movie could not be made.
No, it can't.
It can't.
You know how people overreact to saying the N-word or being racially insensitive to people? This film does that in spades.
Yeah.
It's so goddamn inappropriate to modern cinema goers, you could not do it.
Yeah. And the whole
Probably
reason,
even watching it nowadays would probably be considered heresy. But I watch it anyway because it's like, screw you.
yeah. Plus, the whole point of the movie is it's attacking racism with comedy.
Exactly.
It's showing why racism is stupid and stuff like that by making fun of it. So what's the problem?
Yeah, that's what Mel Brooks does best.
Yeah.
Watch any of his films and whatnot. It's all about making fun of whatever the topic is: comedy, racism, Star Wars. Robin Hood. What was another one? Silent films. The silent film one is actually funny because they actually played it entirely straight-laced through the entire thing, where the entire film was made as a silent picture.
Yeah.
I never had heard of this film until my brother showed it to me. I watched it. I'm like, this is freaking brilliant. It's an entire silent film with only one piece of dialogue, but I won't spoil who says the dialogue. I just recommend you go and see Silent Movie because I believe that's what it's titled. Hold on, I'm going to double check this for the people.
Also, when you mentioned Robin Hood Men in Tights, that reminded me of one joke that it's on a sign in the background, and if you blink, you miss it. But Mel Brooks' character, the Jewish guy who does the marriage at the end,
Friar Tuck. He's not Friar Tuck. I forgot what he's called.
But yeah, you know what it is. Well, he's in a tent and the tent that he comes out of, and you'll miss it if you blink, but there's a sign that says circumcision's half off.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it is. It's called Mel Brooks' Silent Movie. It's one of the best ones I've ever seen of his. Actually, I just like pretty much all of the ones I've ever watched. I don't think I've ever seen one that I didn't have fun with.
See, it just reminded me, now that we're talking about comedy and sort of not being able to get away with certain jokes and things in my current year, I still can't believe what happened to Count Dankula. Have you guys not heard about this?
No, I know. I've kept up with it for the most part.
What about you?
What Count Dankula is?
Count Dankula was a YouTuber, and about 2 years ago, he did a video which was only supposed to be like an in-joke with just his friends and family and girlfriend, right? He went, my girlfriend absolutely adores this pug. She adores it more than anything else. She goes, I'm going to turn it into the worst, the least cute thing you can think of, a Nazi. And so he had trained the pug to do a Sig Heil. He goes, Sig Heil, and the pug would go like this. And then he goes, Buddha, do you want to go gas the Jews? And the dog would act all excited like that. The police then arrested him 17 days later. They've through a kangaroo court, basically. The prosecution wanted to. I know the prosecution wanted to put him away for 5 years in prison, right? And it kept getting delayed and delayed. He's eventually been sentenced. He was found guilty for like posting grossly offensive hate speech comments or hate speech. I
don't remember.
He was sentenced.
Hate speech.
He was sentenced to pay an £800 fine, and so his defense lawyer and he said, "I refuse to pay this fine. I also, if you sentence me to community service, I'm not going to do it. If you sentence me to prison time, I'm not going to go to prison." And so he has, with his lawyer, he's going to appeal it. And they said, you're going to need we estimate about £100,000 to ensure that you get the best possible legal coverage to help you appeal. Jesus. And I think in about 6 hours, it far surpassed its £100,000 mark.
Wow.
So it's on GoFundMe. Wow. I think it's nearly up to about 200,000.
Wow, good for them.
I know it's been about what 2 weeks now. I think two maybe 3 weeks since he's done this appeal or this GoFundMe.
Yeah,
because this case sets a precedent for anyone else that might make a joke the judge basically said that context doesn't matter.
You okay, Mom?
Yeah.
Is she all right?
Yeah, I think so.
The judge
I think
basically
something
said,
went down the wrong tube.
Yeah.
the judge said that context doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
When it does, it's Count Dankula set up he prefaced the joke with the setup of the joke, which was, my girlfriend absolutely loves this pug. She thinks it's cute and adorable. I'm going to turn it into the least cute thing you can think of. A Nazi. So if anything, it's not being racist against Jews. It's actually joking on behalf of Nazis. They're on the receiving end of the joke.
Yeah, they're the butt of the joke. And he's making it this way because he's acknowledging, the Nazis were terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for the love of God, that means that if I lived in that area, I'd be in trouble because there's a running gag here in this house where whenever someone sneezes, I say Gesundheit. If they sneeze twice, I say Gesundheit again. If they sneeze the third time, I say Sigayo.
Yeah.
Achoo!
Gesundheit!
Achoo!
Gesundheit! I'm keeping it off camera.
Achoo!
I'm just reaching for a can of soda.
It's so goddamn stupid what happened. I remember, but the one thing was, I think the funniest response was from a British comedian that responded to it, where he literally went off on the judge and basically called him an idiot.
Oh, Jonathan Pye! You should subscribe. Oh, he is so funny.
Yeah, I just love that, and it's like, well, if I can be arrested for a joke, and he just does the goose stuff all around, well,
in front of the court, he does it in front of the court, doesn't he? He goes, he was shouting at the judge who was presumably in the building. He goes, "It was a fucking joke, you cunt!"
And just the fact of goose stepping and.
He starts doing the goose step, and then he goes, here, this is me, a Nazi fucking the Von Trapps. Miming fucking the Von Trapps. Oh, God.
Yeah, that was just... It's like, that was very ballsy to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead.
I was about to say, you had the likes of Ricky Gervais, who was defending Count Dankula, but then on the other hand, you've got other British comedians who I have lost complete respect for now. There we go. Oh no, he's an alt-right Nazi, and he's using the mask of it's a joke to normalize hatred at marginalized people. I'm like, oh God.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, oh, you're no longer a comedian. You're a social privilege warrior now. What were you guys going to say?
I was going to say, it's like, the thing with, every time I've ever watched a comedian, with very few exceptions, most of them do focus on things like race, gender, or, their own personal, life and whatnot. And they make fun of stereotypes. They make jokes at the expense of stereotypes. At least, what am I thinking? I'm thinking of at least a few of the comedians I've seen, some of them who are Hispanic, and one that's, I think, Korean, where they make fun of, the neighborhoods they live, the fact that they're of that nationality or race, talk about their families. I think the Korean guy made fun of his own mother for the stereotype of, running like a nail salon.
Yeah,
I wish I remembered the comedian because I can't remember the special. But he makes fun of that, and he makes fun of the fact that his mom is overbearing and on his case all the time. There's all these goddamn stereotypes, and they just embrace them and they accept them. And it's like, no, this actually does happen. It's right here.
Yeah.
Or like, what was it, Gabriel Iglesias talking about being overweight and fat. and being fluffy. I'm not fat, I'm fluffy.
But that's why I love shows like South Park and Family Guy are really nailing it on the head with a lot of the social justice warriors are like. I mean,
Yeah.
last season of South Park was so on point.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys, any of you guys watch that.
I don't watch.
I don't have TV.
I don't watch South Park. It's not my jam. It's not my brand of humor that I enjoy watching. But I have seen some of the things that they've done in the past. I'm like, yep. You see, that's the type of there's a few things. Humor is subjective, so not everybody's going to laugh at certain things. Like my brother used to love watching Jackass, and he enjoys watching people get hurt because for some reason he thinks it's hilarious. I don't find that funny at all, especially if it's intentional. If it's accidental, I find it funny because it's an accident happened, like somebody accidentally hit you in the nuts unintentionally. Ha ha ha. Something like that can be funny because it wasn't planned. But with like Jackass or any of the other shows on MTV at the time, it's like it's intentional. It's not funny if you're doing it on purpose. Yeah. If you're intentionally, hitting each other in the balls persistently, it's not funny. It's repetitive and boring to me. But, like I said, it's subjective. Other people think differently than me. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, it's sort of like a story that I have of a friend who I will not name, but if he watches this, he'll know exactly who he is. I was hanging out with my buddy one time, and this is a story of pain that is now comedy, by the way. But it started off with, I was at my friend's house. I was about maybe 15 years old. He was 13 years old or 12. So we're just sitting down. We're playing video games. At one point, he's told to get up and go do something. Well, I see this dowel rod. I pick it up. I go, oh, okay. And in his room, because we lived in government housing, he had a lawn chair for his chair in his room sitting near the TV. So I think, what would be funny? He'll see it, but he'll just go, oh, you a-hole, and just pull it out of the chair. I put the dowel rod, this lacquered dowel rod, in the middle slit of the seat of the chair.
Oh, no.
Well, he comes back in, and he's going, okay, I got that done. I got me a drink. He sets his drink down on the table, which is a good thing. And I'm just sitting here going, oh, he's going to notice it. He's going to notice it. He looks down at the chair. I'm thinking, okay, he just noticed it. But apparently, even though he looked down, he didn't realize that the dowel rod was there. So he turns around and slams his arse down onto the chair. Oh. He screeches for a moment as he stands up, this dowel rod now sticking out of his arse.
I was about to say, did it hit the meat or was it anywhere near the hole?
It was the hole.
Oh.
So he's going there, and we slide the chair off the dowel rod first. Then we go to try to pull the dowel. Then I go to try to help pull the dowel rod out. I'm having trouble, so I have to call his sisters in. We all got to pull the dowel rod, and we end up putting our feet on his backside and have to push as we pull this thing out.
Oh my god!
And it's just the thing. It was horrible at the time. I feel so bad about it still, but at the same time, looking back, it's fucking funny.
Oh my god, that's some pinpoint accuracy. That is.
Yeah.
Like, what are the chances of just a pen stick that?
Yeah, but I think I remember Rabbit telling me this story once. Actually, I think you said this story with the person in question was actually with us.
I did. But I will not say his name because
quote unquote butthurt about it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he acts butthurt about it, but he laughs and he jokes about it himself too. So he's cool with it. He knows it was an accident and wasn't meant to hurt it. Because he even knows, and I felt really bad about it for years afterwards. I still feel bad to where I'll still apologize for it. Yeah. And I'll still laugh at his expense too. So,
why not?
I mean, if he's willing to do it.
Did he do any damage to himself?
No, he didn't do any permanent damage to himself, luckily. It was just a thing of it. The reason it was stuck is because I'm guessing the shock made it to where he went from loose to full clench. Because let's face it, when you're not expecting something to be shoved up your arse, you're gonna clench.
Oh.
Dear Lord. This has gone to a weird point.
Well, I gotta see what Chad has said about this now that they've heard the story. If
Game Genesis and first world problems to pranking friends and sticking wooden dowels up their butts.
It wasn't intentional, I swear.
So he says.
Well, when someone looks directly down at it, you think they notice.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I think that with comedy as a whole, it's like they have to walk on goddamn eggshells now.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing I think I noticed is that most comedians won't even go to college campuses anymore.
Yeah.
They don't want to perform in front of college students. They just don't want to do that anymore. It's like, why? They're going to complain about being offended. Why should I go there? It's not even entertaining. It's like they're just going to complain, probably try and attempt to boycott the show as a whole and try and get me kicked off campus anyway. So why even bother trying?
Yeah.
I mean, the only comedians that, I mean, back in like olden days and whatnot, comedians didn't used to have this level of, you know, freedom of saying like just pretty much whatever they wanted, you know, with their specials and whatnot. And some comedians actually, you know, they chose to be very lighthearted, fun, and they, you know, they weren't insensitive or they didn't like curse or pick fights or anything of that nature. You know, comedians like Red Skelton come to mind. You know, he actually thanked people for showing up to his shows and the fact that, you know, he didn't do any of that stuff. Like some of his last few shows, he's like, I really do appreciate that. Everybody can still sit down and laugh and enjoy my show and avoid all the more meaner comedians out there that were coming up at the time.
I saw this YouTube clip because Maverick was saying, now we know something, don't be a comedian in 2018. I saw this YouTube clip where this guy, it was like an open mic night at one of these comedy bars or something.
Yeah.
Comedy clubs. And this guy signed up to be as one of the gigs, to be one of the stand-up, and he was going to do a protest comedy. I can't remember what it was. But he was basically just shouting into the mic saying, "Words are violence." It was.
It's only funny now. It's only funny because we're laughing at how stupid he is.
I can't remember what it was, but he was basically chanting and shouting into the mic, although he had signed up to be to take part in the open mic night.
Did he even think that out at all?
I kind of applaud him for doing that, but it was just so funny with him saying that people should not say offensive jokes.
I would just laugh him off the stage with just how bad he is. It's like because my brother has actually signed up to do comedy routines in front of people. He plans out, what he's going to say and whatnot. Actually takes effort and time to do that. And I don't know the level of success he has on an open mic night because I wasn't there when he did it. But you should be able to have fun,
Yeah.
It's like going up on stage and yelling like words are violence. It's like, no, words are words. Violence is me going up on that stage and drop kicking you off it. That would be violence.
And how does this make you feel?
Good, because I knocked off someone who's not a comedian.
And how does this make you feel?
What?
Yes,
Your feelings don't matter.
And how does this make you feel?
Ink splotches.
Yes, and?
Shut up.
How does one shut up? Up is a vast expanse, therefore one cannot shut up.
Get new material.
I only use it because it pisses people off.
True, fair enough.
I'm really struggling to try and find where this clip is.
Oh no.
It's coming up with that Key and Peele skit. Do you remember have you seen that skit where there's a guy who's like a burn victim? He's got one of those electronic voice box modulators thing. And he's basically he's going, do me. Because the comedian's roasting some of the people in the audience, and they're all laughing. So the burn guy's like, do me. And he's like, are you sure? Like, and then he says like some really like, oh, your face looks like so and so or something. And then he goes, starts laughing, and then he starts crying. He goes, dude, why are you crying? He goes, were you all right with the joke? You know, with me roasting you? And he goes, I thought I could take it, but I can't. The people then start booing this guy off the stage. Oh my god, you just upset this guy's feelings. I'm like, he wanted to be roasted.
Yeah.
Excuse the pun, because he was a burn victim.
You know, it's kind of like that. What was it? There was an episode of American Dad where the alien Roger asked to be roasted, and then then the entire family does. They roast him in the most professional format ever, and then he's sad, and then gets angry and wants revenge on the family for roasting him. It's like, you asked for it, numbnuts.
Oh, I found the video.
That's my nickname.
I found one of the videos. It's Sorry Not Funny. That's it. It's a Lord Nurgle video. I managed to find it, linked me to, but there's also the original video, which I'll just put in the group chat. I don't think it'll let me send the.
There it is.
Did that send...
Well, nope, it sent the Polygon article again.
Oh, sorry.
You need to copy the other link.
I know, I did it wrong. There we go.
Bad Flattmeister.
I did it wrong.
Now I shall take away your grand status. You're back to just Flattmeister.
So, for anyone that's watching in the chat, the video is called Reverse Heckling Activism #1. And it's just so funny. This guy basically chants loudly into the mic. It's quite funny.
The offensive nature of most supposed comedy today. Stylistic approach protest chant.
Yeah, so that's something to watch later on, but it's really funny.
Oh dear Lord.
I have definitely something to watch later on. It's a 14-minute video.
We
got a thing to do right now.
He's the typical looking sort of soy boy with the problem thick rimmed glasses and the hipster beard and the weird fluffy millennial haircut style.
It's like, could you be any more stereotypical? This is the reason why everybody makes fun of the stereotypes of what you look like. At least change up your appearance so then they can't make fun of you for stereotypical look. Oh my god. Okay. Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
Go on, Rabbit, if you had something.
I'm trying to think. I had something in my brain. I lost it. I'm trying to reel it back in real quick.
Gotta make sure that when you cast the line that there's plenty of bait in there so that you can reel it back in.
Damn it, I knew I forgot something.
Yep. The clickbait.
See, I got a couple of things to say. Is game journalists are activists. And they, not they're not journalists at all. They're activists, and that's not what a journalist should be. They need to be objective and impartial.
Yeah.
Also, I can't wait for the next set of videos from Rabbit Sensei, the Mega Man X redubs.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Been having a lot of fun with those.
And also, thirdly, let's do a Metal Gear Solid 1 fan redub.
Hey, I'm up for doing it. Just give me a voice, and I'll happily join in.
I was saying, I think when it was just me and Nightwolf, I was saying to Nightwolf, if we were to do that, I know the perfect character that Nightwolf could play. He could voice Psycho Mantis.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Let me look into your mind.
Yep. I don't remember any of it. I don't remember any of his lines, unfortunately.
Oh, I see you like Castlevania.
Place your controller on the floor. I will move it.
My God, what is this? Metal Gear?
I didn't do that well at all. Oh, jeez. Let me try that again. Yeah, let me try again.
Metal Gear.
God, I have to make my voice sound like I smoked 100 Marlboros before I do that. Oh, jeez.
Well, considering who you're trying to be, he does smoke a lot of those.
What about the DARPA chief, that sort of really deep black guy voice? He goes, Metal Gear is one of the most black secret projects. How did you know that? We had a couple of run-ins in the past. I always remember that line. He goes, Metal Gear is one of the most black secret projects.
The only thing that I ever remember from any of the Metal Gear Solids is when Snake dies. It's like, Snake! 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 It's the only thing I ever remember, aside from a few, like, scenes and moments. Because I do remember the fight with Psycho Mantis, because I remember watching my friend play the Metal Gear remake on PS1. I remember Ninja and Sniper Wolf. And a few other scenes, but I vaguely remember. It's been too long since I've actually watched or played it myself.
Hurt me, Snake. Make me feel alive. He starts banging his head on the floor.
Oh, God. Just... Jeez, that game was full of some screwed up lines. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah.
But I love the story.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I do, too.
I think
though you all probably hate me, but go ahead.
I was about to say, with each Metal Gear game, Kojima and his team have always innovated new gameplay mechanics, or like way ahead for the technology of its time. Like MGS1, with the limited polygons and graphical capabilities of the PS1, Metal Gear Solid 1 did some terrific stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the breaking the fourth wall. There was, especially with the game mechanics, with you could distract a guard by knocking on the wall, and the footprints, like people would see wet footprints.
Yeah, I have one question. Did all of those gimmicks transfer to the GameCube port? Because I remember that they remade it.
Yeah, I do think
graphics.
Yeah,
Twin Snakes, it was called.
Yeah, Twin Snakes is actually a lot easier too, because you could do the first-person aiming view again.
They basically, they ported Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty's game mechanics into Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah.
I never got around to playing that.
Neither did I. I was just asking. Because I remember that there was an updated version of the first Metal Gear.
There was so many interesting bosses and characters in that game.
Oh, yeah. Well, with what? Ninja, Psycho Mantis, Sniper Wolf, just
Vulcan Raven.
Yep.
Revolver Ocelot. Because I think he was in the first one, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Of course, he constantly kept showing up. He just kept showing up in every single one. He seemed to be a constant. So,
yeah, but you gotta give the character some credit. He is a good actor. I mean the character, not the voice actor. The character himself is a good actor if you played all the games.
Yeah.
Or at least watch someone play it, because let's face it, Metal Gear Solid 4, that's not a game, that's a movie.
Welcome to modern Kojima.
The ending was over half an hour long, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think the ending clocks in at around 45 minutes to an hour total.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
I remember playing that round of friends, and I think we missed out on loads of player-initiated codec sequences because I'd sat there for so long watching these cutscenes. I'm like, I can't be bothered to do just randomly call the people on the codec every now and then throughout the level.
Yeah,
throughout the game.
Well, Kojima always did say his mind was filled with movies, but he has a passion for making games. So
yeah,
it's weird. It's weird that he doesn't want to go into making movies.
He probably would do a good job.
Yeah, agreed.
He has enough pull at the very least in an audience that would probably watch them. As incoherent as some of them end up being. Because
Well, I
that's
mean-
kind of how I view the Metal Gear series. Like, I'm sorry, we're at game 3 or 4. I'm lost. I have no idea what the freaking hell's going on anymore.
Well, I mean, he teamed when they were working on Silent Hills with teaming up with Guillermo del Toro, and Norman Reedus, and then that got cancelled, and now they're doing this Death Stranding. Which,
Yeah.
Which, let's face it, Death Stranding is probably just Silent Hills with a new name and a couple skins.
Potentially. I'm not interested in that. I don't find that appealing at all. I'd rather go play Metal Gear. I don't know. Well, because we haven't really seen any gameplay footage or anything. We just see a lot of weird imagery and whatnot, and I have no. And it's the typical Hideo Kojima. I think I'm being trendy by being weird type thing, where nothing makes sense. It's an incoherent, mess of imagery and whatnot. I mean, I'm sure it has some form of meaning or purpose, but from what I've seen, I'm like, I have no idea what you're trying to pull with this. And quite honestly, I don't care. Until I see something that actually shows gameplay of what the hell we're doing, I don't want it.
Oh, quick question for both of you, and I'll tell you mine after you both answer. What's everyone's favorite Kojima game?
Ape Escape. I don't know. I barely played the first Metal Gear, and I think I remember playing Metal Gear 2. But aside from that, I don't remember any. I barely remember that one.
I'd say Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater was my favourite one. I never got around to playing Zone of the Enders.
Oh. I forgot he did Zone of the Enders.
Yeah, I did that. So I'd say...
I vaguely... I remember playing Zone of the Enders at one point. If that was done by him, then it would probably be Zone of the Enders. Because it has giant robots in it. And it's an incoherent I can't speak as much of an incoherent mess as all the Metal Gear games. I'm trying to, with that one, it's like they move around the different time points and whatnot, and I'm just completely lost. And I think that's why I mean, gameplay wise and character wise, it's cool, but it's like plot wise, it seems to be a mess of me having to untangle the Gordian knot, try and figure out where everything goes.
Fair. Flat, what's your favorite?
I want a girlfriend now, please. Hi.
Well, I want a girlfriend now, please too, Wolf. But I can't just gift you one, and I can't gift myself one either. But anyhow, Flat. What?
I was just saying the name.
But yeah, Flat. Which one was your favorite Kojima game again?
So it was Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. That's my favorite. With all of the survival elements, like the hunting, the different animals, and you could gather resources to like heal yourself, heal all your different wounds.
That is really cool.
Because I remember you could shoot down hornets' nests, and you could use the honey from the hornet's nest to as an ointment for burns. So if you got caught up in an explosion and you had like a burn on somewhere on your body, you could apply the ointment or the honey and then apply the bandage as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really, really cool.
Yeah. Well, that explains why everyone always tells me the third one's the best.
Yeah.
When you go, it goes into like an X-ray mode. You can, and it comes up with your whole medical history, so like all of your previous injuries and diseases and ailments that you'd accumulated across the game.
Yeah.
And if you could spin Snake on the spot, and you would see his X-ray body. And if you span it enough and then came out of that menu and then back in the game, and he would then go, and it'd be sick, and that would affect your stamina bar.
Yeah, I remember some of these mechanics from that one.
And so you wanted to be careful, like not to do that near where there's guards, because if you're trying to escape from a a patrol or something, and there's you going.
Because he's might make the guard slip.
Because he's gotten dizzy. Oh, and also you can't forget, you can kill a boss by old age.
True.
There was the boss called the End. He was like an old man sniper.
Yeah.
And if you saved the game at the beginning of that boss fight, and the game would track your in-console timer, and if you let several days pass, he would then die of old age. So you would go and find his body, you'd put your gun up against him, and it'd just be dead.
That is glorious.
And your characters on your codec would go, "What the hell? You just died of old age?" Really.
That's clever.
Oh man, that is clever.
Well, it's just the same as like the boss fight with Psycho Mantis.
Touche.
Putting the controller in port 2.
Yep. In order to fight him.
Oh, that was a complete mindfuck of a moment, that was, wasn't it?
It's like very meta of you. Thank you.
Oh god, that just makes me think of a challenge. 2 controllers in both a controller in both ports. One player only uses the face buttons and the L and R buttons, and the other person only uses the directional pad and the the buttons and that stuff. And they have to cooperate to live.
Oh dear Lord. That would be. I think that would be more challenging than probably doing a Nuzzle challenge.
Probably, unless you're really in sync with the person.
Yeah. Make sure that you have good chemistry and you can follow instructions together.
You got to have that rapport.
Yep.
But yeah, me personally though, whenever it comes to Kojima games, my favorite one is a game that most people actually hate just because of something that JonTron said. My favorite Kojima game is Lord of Shadows. Because Castlevania Lord of Shadows is a Kojima game, and it's written like a classic, fantasy adventure, sort of like Jason the Argonauts was. I love that. When people bash the game because JonTron called it Lords of Plagiarism because it has ideas from other games. It's a thing of, well, no, there's going to be ideas from other games in a game that came out 10 to 15 years later.
Yeah. Of course, it's going to steal ideas from other things.
Yeah, it's just it's combining things to make it work. Plus, okay, there's the main thing people always complain about is, it's just ripping off Shadow of the Colossus because the golem fights where you have to stab the runes on the golem. I'm thinking, how else do you expect to fight something that's 35 times your size? They gotta have a weak point. You gotta climb them. You gotta destroy it. That's just what makes sense for a giant enemy. But yeah, mini rant right there aside, the reason I love Lords of Shadows and even did a full playthrough of it on my channel in October. So I did that last minute too. Never again on the last minute. But yeah, I love it because it's just a classic fantasy story. Yeah, if you know classic fantasy stories, you know where the twists and turns are going to be because it's very similar. But just the sense of scale, the settings all around you, the combat feels fluid, and the fact that the main character, you can relate to him because he's someone who's lost something, and instead of and people would say, it's just God of War, he's just trying to kill things. Think of, no, what he's trying to do is he's on a quest to get these items to bring a person he cared about back from the dead. He's not doing it because he wants to kill people. In fact, he wants to try to avoid killing as much as possible. He'll only slay monsters. That makes him more interesting, in my opinion, than most action platformer game characters, as well as more relatable, because who wouldn't go, I have a chance to bring someone I care about back from the dead after they were taken from me. I got to take this up. Who wouldn't do that?
Talking of Castlevania, did you watch the Netflix animated series? Yes. Oh my god, it was awesome as hell, wasn't it?
Yes. It was glorious. I can't wait until season 2.
Yep, I'm eager to see where they take it.
So I think it was like 6 episodes, and each one was about 20 minutes long, and you were just craving more, weren't you? Like it really.
Yeah.
It was beautifully animated. Voice work is impeccable.
Yeah.
What was his name? Is it Belmont? Trevor Belmont?
Oh, Trevor Belmont. Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's just really just charming, and Oh, when he has that fight in the alley, and he whips that,
yeah.
he whips that guy's eyeball out.
Yes.
It's like, oh.
Oh god, that show is rated R for certain, but that's the way it should be.
I was actually, I wasn't surprised with the rated R. What I was surprised was language. I was expecting like blood and and decapitation and whatnot. I wasn't anticipating the F-bomb to be dropped away. Okay,
Yeah.
that I was not anticipating. Surprise!
Yeah, I mean, really, the only thing I wasn't anticipating was the peasant people talking about someone fucking goats. That's the one thing that caught me off guard.
That too. That's a bit of a surprise too.
First one is the 12th.
All right. Well, we've been going for about 3 hours. I think we've winded down.
Teleto, you're voting vampire Jesus over there.
My what?
You're floating vampire Jesus over there.
Where? Vampire Jesus? Don't
That
know.
was a line from the show.
It's been a while since I watched it. I don't remember lines from everything, so.
It's season 2.
But still, yeah, I do look forward to that. I should probably also watch that Godzilla Netflix movie that's out.
Yeah.
Run! It's Godzilla!
Godzilla on another planet. How he followed you to this planet? Nobody knows.
Yeah. Well,
unless it is still on Earth, I don't know.
Still Earth. It's still Earth.
I wasn't sure. I was like, from what it looked like, it looked more like science, real like big science fiction landing on with like a fictional spaceship and all this stuff. I'm like, are we in outer space? Did we land on another planet? Oh my god, wait, Godzilla followed us to another planet. Is he? Oh wait, no. If that was the case, it would still kind of make sense because I believe there was a space Godzilla. So, so hey, at least there's that.
Yeah, I will say this though: the Godzilla in Planet of the Monsters, biggest Godzilla to date. Holy crap! It's the size of Mount Fuji. I kid you not.
Is that from the current one, or was that from one of the old movies that I'm trying to remember? I forget. I think I remember one of the Godzillas. I think it was from the '95 film that was the largest at one point, but I don't know if that's changed since then. Of course, I think that the one thing that people have been with Universal doing their kind of King of Monsters cinematic universe thing. Everyone's wondering, it's like, how is Kong gonna get to the size big enough to fight Godzilla? It's like the thing is that he's still an infant. He's still young. It's like, and the Skull Island movie takes place in the '60s, whereas the Godzilla movie took place in what was it? I think the film came out in 2014.
Yeah.
So it's basically modern age. It's like, that's a long time for a giant gorilla to live.
Yeah.
And considering that his family lineage can live for hundreds of years, so probably by then he'll probably be massive. So
I also, if in the Godzilla vs. King Kong movie that they're going to come out with eventually, if they have King Kong win, I'm going to be mad. Godzilla wins. Yes,
every time.
King Kong has raw strength. Yes. Godzilla can burn a hole through him.
Yeah, that's kind of the point. It doesn't matter. Actually, I'm hoping that they don't end up killing each other. What I want to see them fight each other, but then team up to fight another monster.
King Ghidorah.
Yeah, like King Ghidorah or Mothra or something else. I don't know. Any other? Just insert giant kaiju here.
Aye. They're joined by the Pacific Rim teams.
Actually, I was surprised that they didn't try and combine those two.
Let them fight.
Yes, it was a giant Jaeger. Anyway, guys, I think we'll end this here. We're kind of we've winded down a bit. I can't think of anything else to really talk about. So we'll let everybody, plug them by themselves, and then we'll call it a night. Sound good? Good, because that's what I say, and my word is law.
All right, Flat, do you want to go before me? You were here first.
Yeah, sure. Hi or bye in this case. I'm Flattmeister. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Flattmeister. Follow me on Twitter at the Flattmeister. I'm on Twitch as well. Again, Flattmeister. I stick with the same name. Follow me on there. I'm starting to get used to Twitch and OBS, and I'm looking to stream a lot more often. I've also got a Patreon as well. If you enjoy my content, feel free to drop $1 in the tip jar, as they say.
Don't say drop $1 in the till, because then England team will claim copyright.
I don't like to e-beg or.
I in general, I don't think anybody likes it, but the way that YouTube is, it's like you don't really have a choice. And I wouldn't really consider it e-begging. It's like, hey, you have two options: purchase YouTube Red, or just pay the creator directly.
Because the thing with my sort of personal life is, I don't know if many people know this, but I had to resign from my job due to becoming unwell, became physically disabled, chronic pain and such. So yeah, that affected me financially, and also like I got declined for employment support allowance. I had like I had a doctor's assessment, and out of a possible 15 points that they judge you on, I got 0. And so I feel like there's no point in appealing it, because if they've decided I've got 0 points and they think that I'm suitable to work a 9-to-5 job. I mean, you see that sofa behind me. When I wake up in the mornings, I'm pretty much sofa bound. My back hurts. My back and my legs hurt so much that I have to lay down, especially after sitting, streaming for 3 hours. I take all the pain medication and stuff, but
yeah.
So the only thing I can do and enjoy is doing YouTube, and so with regards to like Patreon or PayPal, anything that people can help. Like I said, I hate the idea of e-begging, but yeah, that's what I've got to say. I'm trying to be modest and humble.
I don't
subscribe to Flat and give him your money.
That's basically what he's telling you. Go over to his channel and donate to his Patreon right damn now.
That's not what he's saying. That's what I'm saying. Give Flat your money. He deserves it.
or hey, maybe some more ringing endorsements from other game developers.
Yeah.
Would be a good thing. Go to Flattmeister for all your video gaming news. Anyway,
go on, Rabbit. It's your turn.
Yep.
All right, let me grab my mic here.
Why, hello, everyone. My sexy, sexy people. How are you doing today? Yes, how are you doing tonight? Oh, lovely. Anyhow, I am Rabbit Sensei Gaming from the YouTubes and the Twitch. Same name, 2 channels. Sort of like 2 girls, 1 cup, but without the disgustingness. The hell is wrong with me? The answer to that question is yes. But anyhow, I do reviews, Let's Plays, mostly Let's Plays, because I enjoy playing games more than I do reviewing them. I do take a critical eye at things because I've been developing games myself, as we stated earlier in the stream. I also too do a thing. I don't really do Patreon anymore because Patreon is just sort of not working. I use Ko-fi, which is, instead of a subscription-based donation system, it's a one-click, one-time sort of tip jar type thing, where the minimum tip is $3. And pretty much all tips go towards helping me keep maintenance on my equipment and helping me out personally with bills and such, due to the fact that sort of like Flat, I feel you, man, on the whole back stuff, because just like Flat, I also have a permanent disability on my back from a work injury. So I too wake up in the morning and just lay in bed for most of the time and just say, I'm not moving because it hurts. So Flat, me and you, we are the disabled buddies. They're disabled bros.
Pulling out the disabled card.
Yes.
Can't wait for that channel to show up on YouTube. Disabled Bros.
Or we could call it back to back. But yeah, pretty much I do Ko-fi to raise money to keep maintenance on my equipment, stuff like that. And I mostly focus on the equipment because if I don't have that, I can't keep putting out content for you guys. And that's the whole point of my channel, to keep people entertained, have some laughs, and maybe show off a few games that some people haven't known. Like I've been playing .hack GU. I recently completed pretty much every Mega Man Classic game. The only one that hasn't uploaded yet is Mega Man 10, and that's because I got a special project with that. But yeah, I just do a bunch of gaming, have fun, and on Twitch I do a bunch of gaming, laugh at my own failures. It's a good time. So yeah, my channel name again on both Twitch and YouTube is Rabbit Sensei Gaming. Hope to see you there.
Boom.
There you go. They've been plugged. I hope everybody is pleased and happy. But anyway, yeah, this is my channel. This is Night Wolf Plays. We do just about everything. This channel is a hodgepodge. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you feel like supporting me or anybody who does show up on streams, please feel free to do so. Actually, to be quite honest, I wouldn't be willing to support myself right now. Actually, I would rather you go over to help my buddy Weaponized Nerd Rage instead, because he's going through a struggle currently. If you follow him on Twitter or anything, I'd say go help him out. He's in far tighter need than myself. So, but, you know, that's pretty much it. And now I've just soured and made everything sad and depressing.
Telehim is calling us disabled JWs.
DJWs. Okay.
Telehim is from Australia, and I feel bad for him that he's only just tuned in, and we're wrapping up because of the time difference.
I'm sorry, Belle. My bad. Well, actually, it's not my bad. It's not my fault, but sorry about that.
We blame the sun for setting and raising in 2 different locations.
There you go. I do apologize for that. Sorry you couldn't be here for it. Of course, you can always watch it later. It'll be up here. Of course, I don't know. Who knows? Probably next Monday. Tell him. You'll probably be able to catch me then. There'll probably be another What You Toku About, more than likely, because, you know, Chris will probably and Switch will message me and say, hey, we want to do another one. Okay. And that's very genre specific. Wolf's Howl Live is whatever the hell I want it to be, but that is specifically for the audience who likes to talk about Power Rangers and stuff. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
See you, everyone. See you, Thomas.
Bye.